Okay, so now that we're all gathered finally, uh,
Yay.
you are in a briefing room on the 22nd level of the Streel corporate offices in downtown Point True, and you're being briefed on your mission. The the situation is that there's a mine. It's about 400 kilometers to the northeast of Point True. It's situated near a small town, a small village called Rosegard, um, and everything's been there. The mine's been there for almost a decade now, and constantly producing new material, and it's been very good. There's been a good relationship for the most part with the village, and but in the last few months, there have started to be material go missing from the mine complex. Foodstuffs, technical supplies, power sources occasionally. Um, they were looking into it. It was kind of low level, but yesterday, one of the uh, mine staff, in fact, it was the computer expert and technician, was found dead. When his body was found, he had been partially eaten by wild animals, kind of towards the town from the village. Uh, the the mine itself doesn't have a doctor, but there is a doctor in the village, in the town, and the initial autopsy from the doctor indicated that it wasn't a wild animal attack that killed him. He was murdered, and the body was just found by wild animals left outside or something. Um, and so you guys are being dispatched to investigate what is going on. Streel corporate offices suspect someone in the town. They don't know who, but they don't have any reason to suspect any of their miners. Uh, there's been no one new in the area that they know of. So um, beyond that, you're given. Um, they issue you a explorer to travel in, and they want to know what kind of heavy weapon you want mounted on the top of it. So you guys can discuss that among yourselves and decide, and you'll get whatever you need. Um, and they also give you a data cube that gives you access codes to all of the computers at the mine, and directions to the village. And your job is to go figure out what happened and report back.
Okay, and we have access to any locations in the mine. No
Yes,
locked
yeah, it's
doors.
it's it's pretty it's a pretty there's just four buildings there. There's a big processing plant that does the actual processing of the mine stuff. There is a maintenance garage uh, and storage area for all the robots that do most of the work in the mine. And there's a big landing pad because sometimes they fly in a shuttle to haul material out. Um, and then there's the barracks, and then there's a reactor. So there's just the four buildings there on the mine site. Um, so yeah, and so he opens it up to questions. Do you guys have any specific questions you want to ask?
The body that was found,
Uh-huh.
it was mutilated by the animal, but that wasn't what killed it.
That
Was
wasn't
it
what killed it.
a energy weapon or was it blunt trauma?
It looked like blunt trauma.
All right, all right. So he was just probably knocked over the head. All right.
Do
And
we
we're
have a
also
list?
able to.
What was that?
Do we have a list of the miners' total personnel?
Yeah. This is the mine staff. I'm going to post it in the Roll20 chat. Let's see how that comes out. There we go.
Okay.
So there's a Vrusk geologist, a Yazirian roboticist, It was a human that was killed. He was the technician and computer specialist. There are 4 miners, a Dralicite, a human, a Yazirian, and another human, and then there's an office manager. So there's just 8 mine staff there. And then there's a lot of robots. There's like 50 robots.
Alright, so the Azarian has control. Okay, and we could get a schedule of where all these people were at any given time, right?
Yeah, you can do that when you get out there.
Okay.
Is the body in cold storage still?
Yeah.
Then I suggest somebody with the skills. Let's see what kind of blunt trauma actually killed them.
Well, the preliminary report looks like it was just like a club or, I mean, bludgeon damage. Just he got hit something with something.
Was his skull fractured or
Yeah,
was it caved in completely?
Yes. Yeah, it was fractured. It wasn't caved completely, but it was enough to do him in.
And the body was found outside near the crater.
No, it was found actually near the village.
Near the village.
But it was found between,
But it was
not directly between the village and the mine, a little bit north of that, but closer to the village. And yes, Jaren, just the one death.
This particular technician, has he worked long with the company here in this particular project?
All of these people have been there for probably at least 3 years. Some of them have been there longer. Yeah, they've all been there.
Has anything changed recently in the mine?
No, that's the weird thing, is that there isn't anything at the mine or in the city that they know of that has triggered this. That's different.
Like, it was, if they found something in the mine, maybe.
No. The mine started out as a gold mine and still produces gold. There is, in fact, it was one of the villagers that brought the sample to Streel about a decade ago, and got Streel interested. And there's an arrangement between the village and Streel that the village gets a fraction of the profits from the mine, and so they have an interest in keeping it going as well. So it's kind of weird. I mean, it really is kind of out of the blue and strange as to what happened.
And it's an owned claim. It's not leased. They own the...
No. Yeah, Streel owns it now, but with the agreement that they basically pay a commission. You're kind of curious how that got worked out, but it did. So the village does very well by having the mine there. And the mine employs some of the villagers as well, as far as, because there's computer and technician people and the medic, obviously the doctor, at the village.
And cooks and stuff like that. Now, does the village have its own police force?
No, it's really small. I mean, there are 13 families in the village. So that's it. It's not a really big town.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, one of the is probably the sheriff, but yeah, they all know each other. They're, I mean, some of the families are related. Some of the younger families are the kids of the older families that have come back to the town.
I kind of want to suggest that we get a machine gun on the top, because A, it's loud and could scare away animals, but it could also be used as a form of communication.
Good idea, actually.
I second that.
Yep.
All right. So you'll have an explorer with a machine gun, and you will have 5 ammo belts. So that's 1,000 rounds. Um,
Yeah, if we have to use 1,000 rounds, I think we've lost.
well, you have
We're
to
driving
remember
away.
you have to remember you are traversing overland, and there are still wild animals on Pale. So it's
That's
not
true. And
just
cyber
in the
dragons
village.
and all of
It's
that.
also
That's a good point.
protection as you're traveling through the wilds. So that's as much of the reason for them providing it as anything. Uh, so all right. Any other questions before you head out?
Well, we have access to this guy's financials. I'm trying to get a baseline motive why he was killed.
Yeah. As far as they know, there's nothing. He was the computer guy and the tech guy. He kept their vehicles running, the computer going at the mine. Streel employee. There was nothing uh, in that regard. Like he didn't suddenly have a lot of money, or they're all single. All the people working at the mine.
Okay.
They don't have families because they are stationed way out there, and so they're not. There's no families out there with them. Uh, and some of them have been there, rotated out, and gone back. But all of them have been there for a while now.
Minimum of 3 years, you said.
Yeah, 3 years.
And we don't know if the interaction with the townsfolk has been any
Yeah,
relations
you'll
going
have
on.
to find that out when you get there.
All right, so that we're gonna have to check. Okay.
Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
is it possible to remove some of the information from the chat?
Which in the Roll20 or the other
In
one?
the Roll20, is it possible to clear it out?
I can clear. I think so. Why? You want to delete something?
Yeah, I think you should.
Which one?
Under the first one.
First one, what?
Under the miners.
Why? Okay.
Under, I don't want to say it out loud, but
Okay.
Monty.
Oh.
Type it in on the Discord to him.
I'm looking. I don't think I can. All right.
All right.
I mean, I can clear the entire log, which isn't
Yeah,
a
I
problem.
clear the log.
All right. Let's see how I don't. I know I can do it. I don't remember how off the top of my head. Clear current chat log. There we go.
If you do that, if you could just put the list of the people, the
Okay.
miners there again. That I like having that. So.
I do a private message to you.
I can always change the name too. I just randomly generated some names, so. Here, I'll just change his name to Robert. Oh, haha, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I blew that, didn't I? I just copy and pasted from my notes. Anyways, it wasn't. Got it. Good catch. There we go. Name wasn't the issue. It was something else. Okay. Bummer. Anyway, all right. So, any other questions at headquarters before you head out?
Did anyone run a scan on the body, as in toxic rad gauge or radiation or anything like that?
Yeah, there wasn't anything other than, I mean, typical. Yeah, I mean, the doctor did actually a fairly thorough autopsy. on what was left of the body. Um, so, yeah, no, there was nothing. It looks like he got hit with something big or hard, anyways. Cracked his skull, and that was the cause of death. And then, for some reason, his body was out in the open, and he probably was killed the night before they found him. And by morning, he had been at least partially eaten. The village is a farming community. There's fields and stuff around them and wild animals. So.
Okay. Well, I suggest Angel be our pilot here.
Pilot, I'll drive.
Yeah. And
All
I'll
right.
give you the keys to the
my man
Explorer
gun.
when we get there.
All right. Oh yeah. And so I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but Pale's rotational period is 55 hours. So a daylight lasts for like 23. It's early fall.
Yeah.
And so the way they do it is they divide the day up into 2 days. And they do a work period and a sleep period while it's light and another one while it's dark. And you will be arriving in the village basically at sunset on the day based on. So
So it'll be
it's well into the daytime period now, and it's basically a day's drive to get there. And so you'll be getting there early evening, just before sunset as we go into the dark period. That's just
and the work period for the dark is the first half.
actually it's going to be the second half.
Okay, so we're going when everybody's sleeping.
Yeah, you're going to be arriving in the early evening. And yeah, and then it will be nighttime, begin night's rest, begin your investigation the next day. You probably do some stuff that night if you want. But that's the timing, just so you know.
They're having this quartered at the mine or in the village?
You will be staying in the village. There is a city center building that doubles as kind of like a hotel. The mine only has room for 8, so you will actually be staying in the village.
Well, there's a spare room now.
Yeah, well, there's one. There's a spare bunk. Anyway.
Be a little morbid. Okay.
All right.
So if everybody's ready, I'm ready to get behind the wheel.
All right.
They finished mounting up the machine gun, right?
Yeah, no, they just had to.
Okay.
They just basically wanted to know which kind of gun you wanted, and they issued you one with one already mounted.
Okay.
And it's fully charged up, so and you'll be able to recharge it once you get to the city, to the village or to the mine. There's facilities there, and to recharge.
Okay.
So question: Are
Okay.
we carrying a full loadout
On the Explorer?
Yes, and on our persons.
Yeah, you should have whatever. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is there any other equipment that you want to have on your beyond what you already have on your character sheet? But yeah, there's basically a full. You've got 1,000 rounds for the machine gun. And then you should all have. If you need ammunition for yourself, let me know.
Could we get a radio phone?
There's one in the Explorer.
Okay, I mean like one other one in case.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Personal communicators.
The comms are good for 5 kilometers. So. That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay.
We should hide.
Yeah, I think we should have on that arms locker in the Explorer. We should have some rifles.
All right. What do you want?
Well, I guess needle rifle for me with enough ammo for at least 10, 20 clips.
All right. We'll do a needler rifle with 10 clips.
Can you get some trank ammo for that?
Some what?
Tranquilizer ammo for the needler?
Sure.
Just like one clip of it, just for if we have to take something down.
Well, for that, we might as well, if you don't mind, get 2 doughs and 2 tangler grenades.
Okay.
Those would be nice. Just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I could think of. I think we're
Okay.
well equipped as it is.
Yeah, that's not a problem. You can draw that from the it'll be in your Explorer when you get down there to the garage. All right. Well, then the briefing ends, and you guys are. He wishes you luck and says, "Go figure out what's going on." And you head down. You get in the Explorer and you pull out. Point True looks busy as usual. As you get out of town, activity starts to drop off fairly quickly, and you have a nice long drive. Luckily, nothing happens.
I was about to say, I hope somebody's keeping watch. There's
Well,
wild creatures out there.
I assume that you guys, whoever's got the skill with the machine gun, is kind of riding up on the roof and or out the hatch and with watching and or at least whoever's riding shotgun is keeping an eye out but
yeah, I'll be up front with Angel talking about the food locations on the way.
yeah,
There you go.
you get out of the valley that Point True is in, and you traverse a couple additional mountain valleys as you get towards the town. And by the time you get there, the sun is actually behind the mountain. It's not dark, but you do not have direct sunlight. And sunsets are really slow because the planet rotates very slowly. But it's down below the ridge of the mountain by the time you get to the village. So I am going to pull up the village map.
Okay.
And
The
let's
skies
see.
are nice, like red.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
I gotta click on that so I can see it. All right. So here's the village. And shrink it down so I can maneuver it around. So you're coming in from the bottom of the map.
To Point True. Okay.
Yep, you're coming in from that direction. And as you, I'll just point out here, these are all houses for the various families.
Okay.
We have a general store here. The technician garage shop is here. This is a school for the kids in the village. We have a computer and robotics shop here, the doctor's office, and then a large city building. And what you notice as you start to you kind of come over the rise coming down from the valley is that the city building is all lit up. And as you get closer, standing right there, is a woman in a Streel uniform, very much like the ones you are wearing, and she sees you and she flags you down and directs you to turn in here into this parking area.
Right between the dock and the city building.
Yep, this is just basically a parking lot.
Okay.
And she directs you to turn in there, and you see lights on, and there's like decorations on the building, like there's some sort of festivity going on in the building. And
they're having a party with this guy dead just found. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you humans celebrate the weirdest things.
Yeah, so this is so you pull in. I assume you get out of the
Yes.
All right, so
you pull over, go into the parking spot.
Yep. she walks over as you drive by. She starts to follow you, and she walks over and she introduces herself as Yolanda Dexter. She's the mine manager. Um, she says, "Yeah, I got a message from headquarters about 10 minutes ago saying you were almost here, and so I was just out waiting for you. Didn't want you to drive off to the mine when we're all down here. Um, uh, Turns out everybody's here. It's a birthday party. One of the young ladies in the village just turned 12, and it's kind of a big thing to do here. So whenever somebody has a birthday, they tend to throw a party in town, and they invite us. So uh, everybody's here. You can come on in and meet everybody.
All right. Well, while I park, I also take note. How many vehicles are in this
Um,
parking lot?
there's only a couple because most of the
Okay.
villagers just walked.
Walking. Okay.
It's not that far. Even from the furthest house, it's only 600 or 700 feet.
Okay.
What do they
So
do in
they're
the
mostly
village
Streel
besides the
vehicles
mine?
coming from the mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are a couple vehicles. There's a ground car and a hover car, um, but for the most part, uh, the parking lot's pretty empty.
Okay.
What do they do in the village besides the mine? I mean, not all the
It's
people work in the
agriculture.
mine.
So as you were coming
Agriculture.
in, you saw fields all around. So this is just this is the center, and then everything around here are farm fields.
What are they growing?
Uh, Various staple crops.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to point out before we go in, everybody, I suspect my first impressions are, anyways, that in the absence of any evidence, it's very likely that this was a crime of passion, which means that we're probably looking for a jilted lover or jealous husband. So when we go into the party, keep an eye out for anybody who may not be
So happy to see us.
or upset with each other.
Okay.
Body language, because
I'm gonna ask Miss Dexter if anybody didn't show up to the party that she notices.
No, they're all here. Everybody's here.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. That's why I was asking with the relationships, if there's any relationships going on. Because I was like, maybe things were being given away, not stolen as gifts. But we'll see.
Well, I guess we should go
Well,
mingle.
let's go to the party.
All right. So you walk in the city building. There's basically the main level is just a big meeting hall, um, and just a big community hall, and it's decorated. There's a big banner that says "Happy Birthday, Alyssa." There's lots of kids running around. Um, the one thing you do notice probably almost immediately is that with the everybody's human except for any non-humans are in Streel uniforms. The entire village, it looks like, are all human.
Everybody's human.
Yep. So that's immediately obvious as you walk in. And the other thing you notice is that there is a range of ages. They go all the way to from toddlers. It kind of almost looks like there's about 3 generations. There's a bunch of little kids. There are some older teenager age kids, and then there's a set of younger parents, probably in their 30s, 20 and 30s, maybe even to their 40s, and then there's another group of older people that are in their 60s, 70s. But remember, humans live to be 200, so they're still very much in the prime of their life. But you can definitely see somewhat of kind of 3 age brackets of people in the room, and there is. There's kids. There's a sword fight going on. There's a young lady in a light blue summer dress, and she's got like a wooden sword or something, and she's taking on a young man who's probably 2 or 3 years older than her, and looks like she's winning. Um, and in fact, Rennie, you notice that she's wielding her sword very much like a Yazirian would wield a Zamira. Not like a human longsword or anything. Her fighting style seems to just have Yazirian influence to it. But
There's only 2 Usarians in the area, so
yeah. So, and in fact, when you walk in and almost as soon as you get in, she sees you, and she's like, she lets out a squeal, and she just ignores the guy she was fighting. He comes running over to you guys. She goes, "Are you guys here for my birthday? Did you guys just come? It's so cool to see other aliens like Yazirians and Dralicites and Vrust." And she's kind of talking kind of fast, but she seems really excited to see you guys.
I guess I'll play my character the way it's supposed to be. I'm just gonna tell her, "No, we're here for the dead man, but I will have some cake."
She kind of looks at you funny.
Make polite conversation.
Okay. So
I'd like to pair off with one of the Vrust roboticists if I can. Look for him in the crowd.
okay, it's really easy to identify them since there's only 2 Vrust in the whole room, and one of them came in with you. And the Vrust is
we're not really that short.
The Vrust is the geologist. The Yazirian is the roboticist.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to the roboticist.
Okay.
Oh, so the Usarian.
Okay. So you head over there and talk to him, and he introduces himself as Talnor.
I'm gonna ask him. I'll point to the girl I was just talking to and said, "Is that your influence?"
Yeah, guilty as charged.
I'm just basically gonna try to do some polite conversation for a few minutes before
Okay.
I start breaking right into talking to him. I'm just gonna ask him who found the body. I know some of the facts already, but I'd like to see.
It was actually one of the kids. They were out playing and stumbled upon it, and they came running back and reported it. Like one of the 10, 11-year-olds. Let's see.
Like Jill suggested, though, I'm gonna keep an eye on and see who's looking more uncomfortable that we've came in, who's giving us some shady eyes, or trying to avoid our looks.
There's 34 kids.
Well,
and just so you know, I know, I'm just telling you, there's 34 kids, and there are 26 adults plus the 7 mine staff. So that's everybody.
Okay.
That's how many people are in there, just to give you a feel for it.
That's a lot of people. Yep. All right, so I'll just walk around the edges of the crowd. Let the kids play in the middle.
The kids are playing. Some of the villagers come up and engage you in conversation. They actually seemed very happy to see you for the most part. I mean, they're concerned about what happened. They seemed as concerned about it as the mine staff.
And I inform them, we always greet company first. I am of Streel, Chechaka, and we are here to make sure that everything goes well, to make sure that benefit comes for both the miners and for the village.
Yep. All right, so anything you want, you basically have access to the entire village here. Everybody and the mine staff, you can ask any questions you want. I'll tell you how people act or react, or and, at first glance there doesn't seem to be anyone that is at odds with, other than just general, there's a big crowd of people, and some people don't like big crowds of people. But
okay, but in general, everybody's more or less happy.
Yeah, everybody seems to be happy, and some of it seems maybe a little forced just because of what happened, but the kids obviously don't really they're having a
Yeah.
blast. You know, they're running around playing, and probably about a half hour after you get there, they cut into the cake, or appropriate, if you don't want cake, they have stuff for alien metabolisms. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna
what do you want to know?
I'm just trying to get a sense from town lore if the operations were going normally smoothly, or they were having problems lately with the operations, or
For the
just
most,
trying to see if it was completely normal, or maybe something's going on that we're not aware of.
yeah, no, it was pretty completely normal. I mean, we've been having um, supplies vanish, which was, but that really has started just in the last probably month or so. And it wasn't just at the mine. The stuff's been going missing from the city as well, from the village as well. Um, both from the general store there, also from the robotics and technician
Yeah, I was
labs.
gonna say it seemed mostly electrical from what I understood, or things with
Yeah, the
power.
foodstuffs. There were foodstuffs going as well. Um, and but yeah, but it was never anything like major. It was like there would be resistors missing, and electrical components, and a roll of solder, and uh,
No medical supplies from the doctor's
medical
office.
supplies. No, there were no medical supplies that
All
have been missing.
electronics.
Um, but yeah, mainly electronics supplies, technology type stuff,
Yeah.
uh, vehicle parts occasionally.
What kind of
Um,
vehicle parts?
well, we have two Explorers and two air cars here, so just control pieces, repair, joints, just stuff that we just normally have on inventory for just general repairs. Every time, sometimes they'd go into, we do inventory every once in a while, and you go in to get a part to repair something, and you notice that something was missing that was there last time you were in there. So we never like ran out of anything, or was never anything we needed that was missing, but we noticed that sometimes there were fewer of items than we thought we had.
Okay.
Have you decommissioned any equipment lately?
Nope. Um, not not since this started happening. Uh, we replaced about a quarter of our robots a year ago, but just standard, 4-year rotation on them.
What
And
happened to them?
oh, they're working around the clock in the mines. They just wear out.
No, I mean, what
Oh,
happened to them when you
they
replaced
get
them?
sent back to Point True.
Okay, I was just
They get
wondering if any of the robots did make it out or
Oh no,
junked
as
somewhere.
far as we know, they made it out. Yeah, one of the company's hover transports came and picked them all up. They have 20 heavy duty mining robots, and then 20 heavy duty basically transport robots that haul the rock out of the mine, and then some maintenance robots in the buildings. And it was the 8 of those heavy duty robots that were rotated out about a year ago. And so a big hover transport came in, they loaded them up on the back, and it drove off. As far as we know, they made it back. We don't, follow up on that. That's headquarters' job.
I got a question.
Okay.
Do we know where's the entry points for these assumed thefts?
They are just out of so they're in the mine area. There's the robotic shop and technical shop, and there's the garage. And so somebody's gone in there and taken them out. I mean, there's the doors.
There's no forced entry,
No,
basically.
there's no forced
It's
entry.
just stuff that's all of a sudden missing.
Yeah, just stuff suddenly missing, as far as we can tell. And that's true in the village as well.
So is there no security or
Yeah,
people
there's
on a honor
cameras.
system?
And what do the cameras reveal?
That's the interesting thing. When we started really looking at it, there are bits of surveillance coverage missing. here and there.
Do the robots have access to these areas?
The robotic shop when they come in for repairs, but otherwise the maintenance robots do because they go in and do cleaning and things like that. But the mining robots are mostly down in the mine. The mining robots themselves stay in the mine except when they come out to recharge every couple days. And then the transport robots are constantly moving back and forth, depositing the raw ore in the processing facility, and then occasionally moving it over into the storage facility before the trucks come and haul it off. And the last truck to pick up mined ore came about 3 days ago, and there's not another one due for a couple more days.
All right, so we have somebody that has access control to all these areas and able to doctor some of that video.
That's what it looks like.
Somebody could just walk in and nobody questions it. I walk around and ask people basically, we're here to investigate what's going on with Marcus. How was he liked in the village? Was he accepted? Did he get along with everybody? Did he have issues with any citizens?
No, he was fairly well liked. The mine staff would regularly come down and do stuff with the school, and he actually had a really good rapport with with Mikael Lexand. He's the technician in town. They were always talking cars, and he would hang out with them sometimes. And he also worked with the school with the computer, because he was the technician and computer person. And the computer specialist in town is actually Alyssa's mom, Cameron Tinnett. And so sometimes she would come out to the mine and help out there. Sometimes he would help out in the village. Same with the technician stuff. And they worked, the town works really closely with the mine in both directions. The mine people help out in the town helps out at the mine sometimes. In fact, the mine actually employs the town people to help out. Sometimes they get paid when they come out and help. But as far as you know, no, he was very well liked.
He was well liked.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And he helped with the school and the kids.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, you find it was pretty traumatic for the young boy that found the body. He was the one Alyssa was fighting in the sword fight when you came in. You find that out later.
Jeez. First he finds a dead body, then he gets beat by a girl.
He's having a rough week. Or maybe that's why he was off on the sword fight. Who knows?
Well, I'll go talk to the technician.
Okay.
I'll buddy up with him. We'll talk
All
shop.
Right. Yeah.
Find out what Marcus was working on, stuff like that. What would you guys talk about? Any special vehicles, pet projects you guys?
Yeah, he's got one. He's got an old early Streel ground car that he's been restoring over at his shop, customizing a little bit. And Marcus would come down and they'd work on it and just talk shop for a while. He offers to show it to you in the morning if you want to come over.
Okay.
And
I would enjoy that.
I'm gonna ask Talnor. This is a small town. Which house hates which house? Which people hate which people? Because in a small town, it happens.
Yeah, it does. The interesting thing about this town was founded just after the war. And you notice there's a little bit of pain in his voice when he talks about the war. But everyone here is, well, the older group, and he kind of points them out as you're talking. They were the original 6 families that came, and they're actually from off-world. They're not native from Truane Star. Of course, that's true of a lot of people from that time period, because a lot of people were killed, and a lot of the resettlement came from off-planet. He points out a gentleman. He's let me see. I got the names here. So he points out a gentleman, Stephen and Janie Height are their names. He's kind of I guess you'd call the mayor of the town. He's Alyssa's granddad. And his wife is a horticulturist, and you'll see it when you go out there. But there's a kind of a central garden that in between all those original houses, that's just this huge rose garden. It's got probably 15 or 20 different rose species that she grows. That's kind of where the town gets its name from. But they just kind of settled out here to kind of get away from civilization a little bit, and kind of have a rural life and raise their kids. And the old families are pretty close to one another, surprisingly, even after all these years. A lot of their older kids have moved off. Some of them have come back. If there's an rivalry or dislike between families, I mean, there's a little bit of maybe professional rivalry between the technical people in town, but that it's nothing like personal. There's not really. It's pretty amazing to me how well they get along. It's like well, it is and it isn't. It's like they're a good clan, and they watch each other's backs. I have to think about that. I haven't really paid attention to that side of the town, because everybody seems to get along most of the time. I mean, there's the occasional argument over something, but there's no long-standing grudges. Let's put it that way.
One last question.
Okay.
Which of the hairless inhabitants would be considered the prettiest looking? The humans.
Oh, well, that could very well be Alyssa's mom.
Did Marcus hang out with her?
Well, he worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's the computer. She's the computer person for the village, and he was the computer person for the mine. So,
yeah, he was hitting the hard drive. Quick question: do you guys have any problems with wild animals? Or, I mean, obviously the guy was mauled by that. What kind of animals roam around this area?
Well, we've actually, now that you mention it, there have been, there are just general wild animals. You've got things, the equivalent of foxes and stuff, because we are out in the mountains, and we're the only civilization around for a while.
Okay, so like pack dogs and stuff like that?
Yeah, pack dogs, even some wild cat type creatures. They're the pale equivalent. There is, he says, we had a really weird incident just a few days ago, in fact. So, the little, on Pale, there's this little, it's the equivalent of a squirrel. And it looks very much like a squirrel, except it doesn't have a big bushy tail. And it's a little longer, leaner. But it kind of fills the same ecological role. And we had one of those attack one of the little kids. It like bit her. Which is very out of character for that type of a creature. Now usually they're really skittish and run away when anybody tries to approach them. And so that was really weird. The other thing that and this is probably self-inflicted by one of the guys here in town, somehow managed to get well, they call them cyber nooks on New Pale. And I don't know how he got off planet, because it's a Sathar bioconstruct left over from the war but they brought a pair here and they got loose, so they've been running around eating things. Nobody's been able to catch them. So we've seen, but the thing is, I think there's more out there than the 2 that were originally here. So I don't know if they're breeding or what's going on. So that's been a little weird recently. But beyond that, it's nothing usual. I mean, they have a couple robots that kind of patrol through the like kind of security type robots that patrol the fields. Try to keep wild animals at bay, and but occasionally something will get into the fields, and nothing usually comes into town, other than the little creatures that just run around, because there's trees and everything around. I didn't draw them on the map, but
no. Okay. Cyber. What was it again?
They're
Cyber
called
what?
a cybernook. I will post you a link. Let me go find it really quick.
Cool.
Any other questions? Thing you want to try to figure out?
Yeah. If do you know the components of one of those things?
What things?
The cybernetic components.
Well, he doesn't. The ones they brought don't have the cybernetic stuff. They're the cybernetic stuff. That would be almost impossible to get off New Pale, because that's Sathar technology. Why they didn't drop them here on Point True, we never saw them though during the occupation. But here is a link to the article.
I kind of want to follow up on that. Yeah, they don't have them, but would the parts that were stolen be enough to actually make those parts that are missing, the cybernetic parts?
Maybe not all of it, but I mean, they could definitely have been used for that. And I mean, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that was just, electronics components, transistors, resistors, diodes, that stuff's inside that. But but I mean, some of the stuff would be way too big. These things are about the size of a chicken.
Okay.
They're not really big. Well, they're bigger than that, because they have like 100 stamina points. So they're a big chicken, but they look like a chicken. But think of a large turkey, I guess. But
turkeys can get big, and
yeah, they can. I've seen some big ones.
I've had a flock of them pass the backyard. Be like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we'd be doing the community a favor if we ate them.
Yeah. That's true. We'll roast them for Thanksgiving.
That's something we could do. Also, get rid of some of that vermin. Is it possible I can take a stroll out around these buildings and just do a casual patrol? Glancing around. I want to see if there's any other entry points.
I kind of want to go with them and kind of take a look at what the soil looks like, around everything.
Sure. All right. So in the town, so how far are you just looking around the city building? Or are you going to wander around the entire town?
Going to wander around that on the western part where you have that the western perimeter, those houses at the end. I want to see if I can find tracks.
Okay, so those little faint lines are fences, actually, and they enclose residential yards. For the most part, they look, there's the pale equivalent of grass. Some of the houses have little play sets in the backyards. Um, the it doesn't look like there's anything, um, obvious. There's like no broken fences. There's some small holes here and there that, like a cat or a small animal could get through in and out of. Those little squirrel things wouldn't have any problem going through them. But um, there's nothing like one of these cyber nook things. There's nothing. It would have had to have jumped over the fence to get in. Um, from what you can see without actually like going into people's yards and going into their backyards and looking around.
Are there, I guess, somewhere near the field there has to be barns or some place to store equipment?
Yeah, they're a little further out. Most of that stuff is. They bring it in to the technician shop for repairs, but it mostly stays out in the fields. They're a little bit of ways from the town.
It might be something to check out at some point.
Okay, and the body was found north, correct?
What?
The body was found north, you said?
Yeah, so it would have been off the map, but my thing's not registering. There it goes. There we go. Off that direction from the town. Okay. So, yeah, it wouldn't fit on this map. Well, that was weird. That is not what I meant to do. I just left roll 20. Hold on. I went over to the Cybernook page for some reason. So load roll 20 back up. Yeah, I should put that over here for the people watching along. This is the Cybernook right here.
So I guess you went to the mines.
Yeah, something.
And you're back.
And I'm back. Almost. There we go. Now I'm back. So.
Well, after the party, it's going to be late, and it's time when we're going to bed, right?
Yeah, basically upstairs here in this city building, there are rooms. And
okay, it's in the city building we're staying.
Yep,
okay.
You'll be staying right here in the city building. There's some, it's kind of a general purpose building. It has the meeting room. There are, like 2 rooms that are like offices, and then it kind of also doubles as kind of like a bed and breakfast type hotel type thing. There's just some bedrooms that they can put visitors up in. So yeah, as the party starts to wind down, they show you to where you'll be staying. There is a separate entrance to that part of the building. You can get there from where you're at, but there's an external entrance that goes just upstairs to that part as well that you can go in and out of, so you don't have to go through the main part of the building to get in and out.
Okay, so the building we're in, there's doorway by the parking lot, and the other doorway is what? Towards the school or towards the technical school?
There's actually one towards the school that goes into the main room that you're in. There is one towards the parking lot right here that goes to the main room that you're in. And there's a little door right here on this corner that just goes to stairs that go straight up to the upper level to like where the rooms are in that.
Okay.
So they show you that. They take you in and they key your ID cards to get into the building and into the rooms. The rooms do lock. Some of the younger families leave a little earlier, take their younger kids and put them to bed, and one or both of the parents may come back a little later, and depending on how old their older kids are that they took home, whether they feel comfortable leaving them alone. But yeah, just general. It looks like a very sociable group, and you detect an undercurrent that they're kind of, the adults at least are kind of forcing the levity because there was a murder in their town 2 days ago now, but at the same time they do all seem to be, in generally good spirits. I mean, there's concern. You definitely determine there's a concern about what happened, what caused it, what's going on, what the impact will be because of it. But for the most part, everybody's, and they seem to be glad to see you. Nobody seems to be, hostile or upset. They're, generally happy that there's more people here trying to figure this out.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes.
Were you trying to talk? Did you figure it out?
Well, I'm using my cell phone, so.
Oh. That works, I guess.
Okay.
Now, does anybody leave with what's her name? Elisa's mother?
Yeah, her husband.
Oh, okay, so she's still around. Because she was the prettiest one here, so I was wondering if she was.
Okay. So either we have the jealous lover thing, we have a children of the corn thing going on, or if anyone's ever read the short story The Lottery.
Yeah.
So the older families are primarily the people that work the land. That's what they came here for. They still do it. I mean, most of the work's done by the robots. There's a large number of robots that do the farming as well. Then we have the roboticist and her family. She's the daughter of one of the original families. Her husband just helps on her parents' farm. We have the family that owns and runs the store. Then there's the computer specialist. That's Alyssa's mom. Her father is kind of the veterinarian of the village. He works with the doctor, but he mainly does more animal type stuff. Alyssa's their only child, and Alyssa's mom, Cameron, is the daughter of one of the original families. Then we have the doctor / veterinarian. Again, the wife is the doctor, and the husband helps work at the farms. Then we have two school teachers. Well, actually, 3 school teachers, husband and wife that teach, and then a husband in the second family teaches, and the wife there kind of maintains the city building and is kind of like the city clerk, keeps track of all of that kind of stuff. Because the city does actually bring in income from the mine, and that all has to be managed. And then there's the technician and his family, and he's the son of one of the original settlers as well. So there's 3 of the kids of the settlers have come back, and then there's 4 other families that have come out as the town has gotten a little bigger.
And is there cleaning crews and maintenance crews, or is it all handled by robots?
It's handled a little bit by robots and a little bit just by people. The city does the villagers do some of it, but yeah, you've noticed there's a lot of robots around. They take advantage of that, and so the robotics lady is very busy. She has a lot of work to do. Her name is Michaela.
Well, I kind of think we should get Jill's opinion here on. She's the one with the knows how to use 5-finger discount. her thoughts on thefts, and I think Czech is pretty much our only technician. You're gonna have to do something with the robots or the computers. Check the security feeds and all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we need to find out who's been having access control to all these areas in particular. I mean, a lot of people might, but there's got 1, 2 people got to be pointing out, been using it more than others.
Yeah.
I want to know who had access to it, be able to edit it. Because you said the videos was edited, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know who had access
And
to edit
and
it.
you'll be able to look at that more when you get out to the mine. I mean, Talon just mentioned that kind of in passing, that there seems to be some gaps, but
Yeah,
he doesn't know.
yeah, he's not a tech.
And he is. I mean, he's one of the people that could have access to that. The dead guy is the one who had the main access.
Yeah.
What
Well,
kind of skills does the pretty woman's husband have?
What? He is he's the vet.
He's the vet. Okay.
Yeah.
So if he wanted to make sure a body got gnawed on by, animals, he'd know how.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Just thinking out there.
I don't know where these chickens came from.
I'm thinking my initial impression is well, at first it was the suspecting infidelity. Now I'm leaning towards, in regards to the theft, at least, most likely it would be by something that is always there, always under, and therefore invisible, which would be robots.
Well, that's what I would like to see. I'd like to get your opinion on the computer robotics building. How would you break into it? Like, I'd like you to go there, check it out, and say, hey,
Oh yeah. Okay, I got 15 different ways I could do it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, going in there, what's the easiest, the simplest solution for someone trying to get stuff in there?
Oh, you're not suggesting I do it. You're wondering if somebody were to do it. I see.
He wants you to case the joint so he knows how somebody would get in.
Exactly.
All right.
If it's happening, we might as well figure out how it's happening.
I see your point now. Okay. Yeah, I will go do that.
Then you should probably take someone with you.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Okay. Because, if somebody is doing it on a regular basis, you could get.
Quite.
All right. Do you want to go over there now? Or do you want to do that in the morning? You want to get some sleep?
Yeah.
Just do it in the morning.
Do it early in the morning before most people are up.
Okay.
Which might be super early since these people are farmers.
But it is also the night cycle, so.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, remember, most of you guys probably rested while we were driving here. So the driver and the gunner were the only ones that had to really stay alert.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably be tired. But you guys rested in the drive here. So you could just wait till everybody goes to bed after the party. And
Yeah. All right. You're right. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Well, any other things you want to ask the townspeople before they're all gone that you would have asked while you were mingling?
I'll go ask the little girl that was learning to fight. Because kids are nosy and they see everything, even when you don't want them to. What did she know about the dead
guy? Well, he would come and he came to our school a lot. We'd talk. He would come. He also came over to Mom's shop and would help out there sometimes when she'd have a particularly difficult or busy project that she was working on. And he also always seemed to have an interest in some of the stuff my dad did. I mean, he was really good friends with my mom and dad. But yeah, I mean, I'd go hang out at the mine sometimes with him. He'd show me around out there and let me play on the computers out there too. Sometimes my mom wouldn't let me, so I'd go out there, and he was always a pushover. And you get the impression from talking to her when she starts talking about the computer stuff that she definitely has an interest in that.
Okay. All right, that's all I wanted to know. Thank
Okay.
you. I'll go eat your cake.
There's plenty. Everybody
As long
heads
as it's
home
not
with
made
big chunks.
Benetcon flour.
Yeah, they're not growing that here. Just for you.
Thank you.
Question: before we shack up, let's secure our vehicle, so nobody tampers with it while we shacking out.
Yep.
Actually,
we do have an alarm system on it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, do we want to secure the vehicle? Do we want to maybe make it appealing?
Like a shiny toy? Nah.
No. I'm saying if we're watching it or someone's watching it, the thefts are going on. New equipment. Do we want to maybe? I don't know.
Bait.
Well, we could have somebody sleep in the vehicle because we do have a lot of weapons in there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if we do have someone sleep in it, we have to make it so it's not obvious.
I'll do that.
Bait.
Well, you could have someone in a city building watching the car from a window. Is what you're trying to do, right? And just leave it like.
Yeah.
Bait.
I mean, if someone is stealing
Keep an eye out.
parts, there's a chance that hey, a new vehicle has arrived. It's got something that I haven't been able to steal yet because it's not in town.
Well, if you could do it from a window, and you have the needler rifle, you could take them out without
waking
with the sleep rounds.
Yeah.
Brought the doze rounds.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Who's gonna keep watch? I'm going to bed. I've been driving all day.
All right, I'll keep
someone who could shoot a gun.
That's definitely not me either.
I'll keep first watch on the Explorer. By the way, that Explorer has passive sensors. Am I correct?
What do you mean? Like what?
Well, being an Explorer, it has to have some type of sensor, like say perimeter.
Oh,
so we
yeah,
know.
kind of. Yeah.
All right, so maybe we could see if someone might be creeping up and stuff like that. Whoever's in the vehicle, it's not a problem. Unless they're spoofed.
No.
I'll take first watch with the needle rifle. I'll put it on burst for sleep.
Okay. And then you're going to go over and check out the computer building, right?
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else want to do anything before nighttime or before you sleep? If not, I'll go to what happens at the computer building.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm good for now.
Okay.
I'm going to take a nap.
All right, so you go over to it's just across the street. It's not very far away. And you walk over and you see external lights on the building. So the outside of the building is illuminated, and you do notice that there are cameras watching the building. So it's possible you could get by them, but it looks like the security system, there's probably at least a level 4 security system on the building.
Okay.
And it's well protected. I mean, there's not a lot of, not that they probably expect a lot of things to happen, but I think maybe just you get the impression, especially if you talked to, we'll assume you talked to everybody at some point, that it's just as a matter of course. She knows she's dealing with, well, both of them. There's actually 2 people that work in that building. They know they're dealing with a lot of high value material, and while they know everybody in town and they trust everybody in town, just kind of out of habit maybe from education and being off to school in the big cities, they installed a security system on the building just to be safe. They do get visitors. They do have, they have a good working relation with Streel, but they do have the cargo convoy comes through about every week to pick up material, and they have extra, a dozen extra people in town for a couple days while everything gets loaded. And so just it seems more of a precaution, just as a matter of course, not as they're expecting something. But it does look like it's fairly well monitored. At least the outside of the building. You have to wait till the morning when it's open to go inside, unless you want to try to break in.
Yeah, let's keep these people stay on their good side. Not wake the town sheriff in the middle of the night for no reason.
No.
All right. Any other nocturnal activities besides watching the Explorer to see if anybody tries to make off with pieces of it?
I am.
And what do you want to do? Yeah, I know you're doing that. Okay. Well, it's a long night. And the Explorer sits there completely unmolested all night long. Nothing happens the night you arrive anyways. We'll see if anything happens later. But no, it actually passes quite peacefully, and about what would be about 4 o'clock in the morning, you see the city starting, a few people starting to stir. So I'm going to step out for just a minute. I got my little one here is trying to get my attention, but you guys can think about what you want to do. You can go out to the mine. You can talk to people here in town some more. You can go to where the body was found. Whatever you want to do. You guys decide among yourselves what you want to do. I'll be listening, but I won't be talking, and because I'm on a cordless set of headphones. So, but take 5 minutes, take a break if you need to, and talk amongst yourselves as to what you want to do next.
I'm going to get a celebratory Dr. Pepper, the Astros one.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 7 games, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have me a Dr. Pepper.
I would like for us to go to the body, or the point where the body was found. That's going to be my, because it's on the way to the mine anyway.
You know what we also should try to do is look at his personal effects and where he was staying, where he was sleeping in his room.
Yeah.
Maybe he left something hidden.
Yeah, definitely. That's on the mind. But I want to see if the body was dragged, if there's any tire marks around where the body was found. I don't know if the sheriff would find that as well as we would. So whoever got the eye for that.
Like if he was killed someplace else and dumped there.
Yeah. And if we could see if there's tire tracks, or I don't know if a hover vehicle leaves tracks or not. But
no, they just disturb the ground.
Right? They just blow it around. Well, hopefully they use a land vehicle so they leave tracks. And we could find it.
It seems to me that we have a definite lack of computer and robot skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to take some kind of one or the other tech, and I have enough skills to take one. I was debating which one.
So you figure whoever's taking these pieces, they're obviously repairing something because they're taking specific parts of different things.
Yeah, and it's electronics and food stuff, so they're doing something to help some other people or build something, but no medical supplies. So,
and whoever is breaking in, they're doing it by they're bypassing the cameras, which suggests an intimate knowledge of the security system. They're bypassing alarms and so it's got to be somebody who has access.
Well, the equipment has got to go somewhere too. The equipment and the food, which is why I was thinking of the barns, or maybe we should be looking at older mine shafts because it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's in the mine somewhere. I think it's something in the mine.
Also, we can look at some of the plans, the city plans of the town, to see if there's any of the structures have underground
Underground tunnels.
not so much the tunnels, but basements and stuff like that, where people can actually store stuff.
We should also probably look if there was anything in this area pre-war.
That's true.
You know, just abandoned buildings, or was there a mine here before the war, and maybe that's why they're back here now, or.
Now, quick question, because I wasn't sure. The cyberknock that they found, it did not have the cybernetic shell.
No, it didn't. But that was why I was asking, like, if would these parts be something they wanted to make the cybernetic version? That was my thought process.
Now,
And it's possible that none of these things are connected.
it's possible.
Yeah. And the other option is maybe the thefts are related to. We should check to see if they're. Is it happening when these cargo convoys are coming through? Or is it happening when they're not coming through? Is it to get an idea if it's local or someone passing through on a regular basis?
Well, we can check the manifest or the bill of lading. They'll tell us. Will tell us the origination point and what was picked up and what's supposed to be dropped off, either in metric tons or in other quantities.
And if it
Wait, he said the last. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It occurs to me that if somebody's being lazy and not verifying shipments, that could be the issue right there.
Yeah, but the things that were happening, it was not just shipments; it was food stuff that were from the locals.
From the locals and the mine.
Yeah, so it wasn't just the stuff that's convoy related; it's the stuff that some of the stuff the locals is getting stolen too.
But they said they haven't gotten any new robotics in over a year, and the last mining ore stuff went out 3 months ago. They didn't mention any other supplies or shipments, did they?
That's true.
That's true.
The last mining stuff went out 3 days ago.
Oh, 3 days.
Yeah, they come about every week.
Okay. Oh, well then, yes, we should check that.
and the other thing is, if these thefts are wind up being local, if they happen on a regular, if they happen, say, like a day within each other, we know wherever the stuff is going, it's got to be somewhere in a day's travel. Because getting there and back, just a way to kind of figure out a general area where goods can be going if they're not being hidden in town.
That makes sense.
So I still think there's something suspicious between the pretty lady in town. Just because that's the easiest solution.
So the vet killed him and left some of the animal urine to attract the kill him.
Exactly, the killer chickens.
There you go. Problem solved.
What, Ben? I need you to go to bed and leave me alone.
We were all thinking it. That and children's corn.
You can go lay in my bed if you want.
I thought it'd be too obvious. The first thing I asked was, "Are they all
or
redheads?"
Glass Talon to help you.
How did Mom get home so fast and you got home so?
She drove. Now I need to leave me alone. I'll talk to you more in the morning. Okay, I think I'm back now. My 3-year-old refuses to go to bed. Anyway. All right.
Hey.
So it's the day night. You've woken up after sleeping. It's still completely dark outside.
Well, okay, so we were thinking we're going to go check out. Okay, which is closer, some of the farms or where the body was found?
The body.
All right. So I figure we check the body, then the farms on our way to the mine. Is that good with everybody?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. So,
Yes.
everybody load and explore and let's go.
All right. So you have the coordinates of the location
Yeah.
that was given to you. So you can drive, right out there.
Now this bad boy got floodlights, right? Because you said
Oh
it's
yeah,
really dark.
it's
Okay, good.
dark.
'Cause we're
It
gonna
gets
need.
dark on this planet. Oh
All
yeah,
right.
you've got big old bank of lights on the front of it that you can turn on if you
Okay.
need to. In addition to your headlights.
For those of
How
you
long is
without
the trip to the mine?
The
Go to the
mine,
body first.
the distance to the mine is just like about 4 kilometers. It's not very far away. It's just up against the foothills, whereas the village is more in the middle of the valley. The mine is nestled up right against the mountain. Um, and so you drive out there, and um, as you're getting closer, you realize the exact location is inside a small grove of trees. Yeah. So, because as you approach, there you see this small grove of trees there, and looking at your map and looking at what's ahead of you, you realize that the dot on the map is going to be inside the trees.
So I can't drive in.
You can't drive right up to it, no.
So who's gonna go out there into the dark and check it out? I'm behind the wheel. I can't.
Well, I'm a Uzerian, so I'll just take off my glasses.
Well,
And,
there you go.
Yeah,
You got
you're
the good
probably not
eyes for
even
this.
wearing them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to
Yeah.
go out and see what I can see.
Okay.
You want backup?
Probably wise, because my guy is.
Now,
I'll
So I
back
keep
up
the
Mom.
headlights
Too hard,
on,
he's
but the
gonna die.
floodlights
Okay.
off, so that way he can use his vision.
okay.
Okay.
I can say because
I'll back.
if you turned on the floodlights, some of the light would probably get into the location. It's not like a giant grove of. It's not like a big forest. It's there's probably 40 or 50 trees there.
He could keep the lights on. It's not going to bother me. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't see in pure dark, so I need a little light. But...
Yeah.
No, I was gonna keep the headlights on, but not the
okay.
floodlights. You want me to keep the floods too? I don't.
I don't think it's going to get that much light in there with the floods.
All right, so I'll keep them all on. Turn on
Okay.
the floods.
And if something is out here eating on bodies, maybe someone should be on the machine gun.
I got you. I'll pick up the rifle and I'll take his 6.
Okay, well, I'll
Okay.
just see what I could see out there, and then trust that the competent people can protect me.
I'll slip on one of those one of the goggles and the IR goggles, so I'll be able to see
Okay.
each signatures.
And I'll take your 6.
All right. So Rennie goes out. Those of you with the IR goggles on, you do notice there are like small creatures in the trees a little bit. You get out, and it's not too far in. It's basically in far enough that you wouldn't notice something laying on the ground there from walking by it. You'd have to actually come into the trees to find something. So
Do I smell anything?
not really. You do get a little bit that. Let's see, who was it that was asking me that? I didn't see who was talking.
That was Jaren.
Jaren. Oh, okay. Let's see, Jaren. You are. Let me look at your background. Did you get uploaded? Hey, yeah.
I was just gonna use
You do smell something, but you're not sure what it is. There's definitely a smell to the area that's not just trees and stuff. And as you're looking around, you see droppings, scat from some creature, and you realize that's where the smell is coming from, and it's definitely not a normal smell for pale.
Okay.
But you get to the place where the body was, and it's kind of marked out. They haven't spray painted an outline on the ground or anything, but you can tell that people were here because the body's gone, and there were definitely people that were around the area and walking around the area. As you look closer, Rennie notices, and he would definitely notice this. Actually, he recognizes the smell, having grown up on New Pale. It is the smell of those cybernooks, and you definitely find tracks of them in the area. Beyond even as you know, the area right where the body is, there's all kinds of footprints because there were lots of people here. But as you move away from that, you do find tracks from the cybernooks that are not completely like new. They didn't happen in the last few hours, but they're not super old either. They obviously come through this, and there is when Jared's character points it out to you, you definitely realize, yeah, that's how that smell is. And so they have been in this area. It's entirely possible that's what was eating the body.
Who's got the IR goggles?
I do.
Is the scat warm?
No.
Okay.
Question: the critters are up in the trees, so we can't. Do we know where they are?
Oh, there's like some birds and like the little squirrel creatures, just natural tree-dwelling animals. There's nothing large, just those small animals. You just notice them because they're a little warmer than the trees and the air because it is nighttime.
Can I do use either the geoscanner or the vapor scanner?
What do you want to do?
I want to use the vapor scanner.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll.
Aha, first roll. So what is it? Roll
/roll D100.
Wrong way,
you have to have a space. /roll space D100. Okay, yeah, that's a good roll.
Right.
Okay, what are you trying to find out?
I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in the air besides that smell, or if that's masking something, or something.
No, as far as you can tell, there was a dead body, so there is still some residual traces of that. There's blood seeped into the ground, and you know, there might have been bits of the body that weren't recovered, but beyond that, there's nothing more exotic than that. You do detect traces of the cybernooks' presence in the vapor scanner, but nothing beyond that.
Okay. In our movement around here, is there any indication of like a vehicle track, or maybe a skimmer has come through, or anything? Something out of the ordinary, air car.
Make another roll.
Which one?
Just roll a D100.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I changed. All right, 52. There's nothing in the forest, but as you leave the woods and you start looking around the perimeter, because you realize a vehicle wouldn't have gotten in there, There is a little bit further around from where you stop the explorer. You see the ground is disturbed in such a way that you think maybe an air car landed there.
So the blades of grass are bent.
Broken sticks more. The grass is recovered, but just there's like a divot in the ground that looks. It's all the things together. You realize something with some skids landed here.
Okay.
And because there's a slight depression, it's very regular. It's not like it was just random natural occurrence. It looks very much like there's a structure to it.
I'll be back in a second here. Hold on.
All right.
So, you guys that went into the field, do you relay the information that you found out to us?
Absolutely. I'm gonna. That's. I was just waiting for him to finish what he was doing. While he's doing that information, when he's giving all that, he's checking all that. I am going to constantly be relaying back to the people in the vehicle what we've seen and what we discovered so far, and I'm keeping an eye on those trees and the perimeter.
All right. So what I wanted to ask then, since you guys are in, before you leave the forest area, since they're birds, way, do you find any nests over there? Because it seems to be like this is their place.
Actually, before I leave, can I attach the bioscanner to the scat?
Mm-hmm.
Because if this is their nest, I want to see, maybe we can figure out what they're eating and if this is something. You know.
Yeah, you can do that. Go ahead and make another analyze samples roll. Just go ahead and roll a D100 again. Okay.
No.
Well, you do get that. In this particular case, there are no indication that there are human remains in that scat. But do you think about that, and that may very well be if they came here and it was dropped as they were eating, there wouldn't be any, wouldn't have metabolized yet. But beyond that, it just looks like a pile of poop. There's no doubt that it's from the Cybernooks as soon as you attach the scanner to it. In fact, it comes up with a flag. It flags. The little red sign says, Sathar bioconstruct warning. Notify Starlaw.
He wanted to know if this is a nest. Does it, to me, look like that's enough for a nest?
Not for the Cybernooks. No.
Okay.
No.
Suggestion: let's gather some samples so we can always go back and check it out.
All right.
Okay. You can do that. Nobody wants them in the Explorer. You store them on the top.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. A robot chicken.
I assume we have some handy wipes.
New produce. Nuka Dukum.
All right, yeah, I'll grab some samples and calm back to anybody else if they want me to do anything.
From the depression, would I be able to tell what kind of vehicle landed? Is it a Streel type? Is it?
It could very well be. It looks like
it's common.
Yeah, it's just a common. Looks like you could put any number of air cars sit down on that and make that, because they have a kind of a standardized landing system.
Okay.
But.
Okay.
Oh, we lost Zulky. All right. Anything else you want to do here? You want to head to the mine?
I guess head to the mine.
Mine, or you guys wanted to go to see some barns to see if there was supplies there? That's up to you guys. I say mine.
Yeah, let's go mine then. But that's just what does everyone else say?
Mine.
Mine.
Mine it is.
All right.
All mine.
So you get out to the mine, and this is the mine compound.
Oh.
So we have, I'll just explain what the pieces are here. So A is the main building. That's got the computer center, the dorms, the meeting rooms. There's a little gym. I have a detail of the inside of that one for you when you go inside. B is the garage and storage facility. No, sorry, it's the storage facility. That's where they keep the refined materials. So anything that has been processed goes there. D is the refinery, the top part of it. Let's see if I can draw a little bit on here. Objects and tokens. If I just... So this
What's
part...
the fence?
The fence is just a chain link fence.
Okay.
And those are just support pillars around it. And the scale here is those big squares are 5 meters on that grid there. So the top half, I don't know, can you see this shaded area that I just drew? Probably not.
No.
I think that was just more of a highlight for me. Here we go, draw shape. So this part right here is the refinery. So that basically the robots come in from the mine. The mine itself is up from here. They come in here, drop. They go into these doors, right? Yeah, they come in from the top. Oh wait, I'm gonna draw shape. That's not what I want to do. These doors right here, they come in. There's a receiving area where basically they just dump the stuff, and then all through this building is conveyor belts and machinery and smelters and all kinds of stuff. And in the end, finished product or refined material comes out right by those doors. And so there's robots that work in there, and they take it down and put it in building B. This area down here is the garage, where they keep the air cars. So kind of the left half or the right half of this area. And then back over here is the tech shop and the robotics shop. And then this is the power core. There is a reactor there that is providing power to everything, including the village. Some of the power goes down to the village. Because it produces more than the mine needs, so some of it goes to the village.
Do air cars have logs? Like if they log when you've flown in it or not?
I've never really thought about that. Probably the Streel ones might actually, because or at least their system is, because like your car, your Explorer has like a GPS type system in it. That's how the mine lead person knew you were almost there, because you were being tracked. They knew where you were. So they do have the ability to know where all their vehicles are, yes. It may not be in the vehicle itself.
Okay, so like a UPS tracking device.
Yeah, kind of. And then the big E is just a big landing pad. You can land air cars, you can land shuttles, orbital shuttles there. It's just a big open area that you can land stuff on. You could put a couple of Assault Scouts on that thing.
Okay, so and we're coming in through the top or the bottom?
You're coming in through the bottom.
Okay.
So the bottom is towards the city, and I guess north is probably at an angle here. This isn't straight north-south. I didn't draw a compass on it.
No.
But
But to the north is where the mines are.
Yeah, up on this map is where the mine is.
Okay. All right. So we're coming in and going straight to D, to the garage?
Yeah, or you can park out in the landing area. You can park anywhere you want out here, actually. You can see so it's kind of gravelly. The landing area is more developed because it's got to be able to withstand actual spaceships landing on it. Because they do bring in, occasionally they'll bring in a shuttle, an orbital shuttle, and pick up some material and offload it that way instead of just the convoys. Um, but the brown area is more like hard packed gravel, dirt, so you can actually park anywhere in here. But yeah, and when you get there, these doors here on Building B are open. You can see in there, and you can see that there are material in packaging crates, um, uh, iron ingots and things like that, metallic ingots, and it's about half full of stuff that came from the mine. It's been about a little more than halfway since the last convoy was here, and you get the impression that unless they sent a huge fleet of trucks, they would never be able to empty it all at once, which is why the shuttles come in occasionally. And the garage doors are open as well, and in there you can see 4 air cars and 4 explorers. So all the vehicles are accounted for. They're just sitting there in the garage. And as you drive up, the mine manager, she comes out again and is there to greet you. And you see people just moving around and working. So
and robots constantly all over.
Yeah, those robots. A robot will come in about every 10 minutes through that north gate from the mine. And it looks like just kind of like an autonomous pickup truck. It's just a front. It looks like a giant mobile mine cart. Not even a pickup truck. There's a place somebody can ride in the front of it, but it's basically just a big cargo bin, and it's filled with rocks. And it comes in and it goes into the building and comes out empty and heads back to the mine.
Well, does anybody want me to park a specific place, or should I just park on a walk around?
Park near park near the air cars, so
So in the garage?
Yeah, because then we have an excuse to be there. I mean, I know we've got full run of the place, but
okay, no problem then. So I'll drive up and go into the garage. I'll park it next to the other ones.
All right, so Yolanda comes out and she's like, "Well, welcome to the mine. It's nothing fancy. We just work. What would you like to see? What would you like to look at?"
Actually, I would like to see the data for the data records of the recordings. See what happened with that glitch time.
All right. Well, then let's head inside, and she hits her chronocom and says, "Talor, can you come meet us at the computer core? We'll go." He's much better at that than I am. Unfortunately, Marcus was the one who was the best at it. So here's the inside of the building. There's actually a swimming pool, kind of a communal room, exercise equipment. You can see the 8 rooms there. This is the kitchen area. I gotta remember, you can't see my mouse. So that's the kitchen, and well, right here's the kitchen. This is the main computer core, but these are workstations as well. This is a medical bay, although we don't have a medic. This is a sick bay area. And that's the building. So you can all easily fit in this room. So these squares are 1 meter squares on this grid. The ones that are drawn on the map, the roll 20 ones, I think I've set to 2 or 3. So you go into the computer area. Talor meets you there. He's the ranking computer guy. He goes, "I'm not great at this. My area is robots." But he
Unfortunately, I'm not great at this either.
Yeah, he pulls up he pulls up everything and gets you on the computers, and you basically have access to it, and you can do whatever you want, look for whatever you want. So what are you gonna look for? And you don't have to worry about getting past security because you have all the codes.
Okay.
You actually have more access than Talnor does.
Well, okay. The stuff that was disappearing was mostly from 4 and the garage, right?
Yeah. So there is actually from about 3 hours before. So every once in a while there'll be like, if you really start looking, if you just are just playing through the tape and not really paying attention,
Right.
you don't notice it. You don't notice that there's things missing because you're staring at empty rooms constantly and nothing moves.
Yeah.
You know, only if you're really watching very carefully the little timestamp in the corner, you'll occasionally see like a 10-minute jump. But otherwise, it looks the same, except
Okay.
for from about 3 hours before the estimated time of death of Marcus was killed until, and then there's a gap of about 10 hours that are just completely missing, and and it's all gone. There's no security footage of any of the cameras. The computer logs are gone. Everything's gone.
For a 10-hour period.
For a 10-hour period.
Are there logs that are missing for the vehicles as well?
Yeah, it's all missing. It's like the whole everything from that time period just got completely wiped. Everywhere else it's just like this camera doesn't show something, or things like that. But for that period, just everything's gone.
But while I'm looking at this, did somebody mention they wanted to check Marcus's room?
Yes.
I'd like to check Marcus's room.
I would.
I would like Jill to check it. She's got thievery. I don't know how we can apply that to this, but maybe she could see if something's being hidden somewhere, like a stash or something.
All right, Jill, go ahead and make a roll.
So it seems my character is very judgmental. He's always saying, your thieving skills. And
all right.
Wow.
So she goes in, and Yolanda points out which one was his, and you go in, and the rooms are fairly small. There's not a lot of space there. You've got the desk with the chair there, a little closet. There's the private bathroom, and there's the bed, and there's a little open space in there. But it's a kind of a small dorm room, is pretty much what it looks like. So you start rooting around in there, and there's computer parts sitting on the desk. There's a little personal computer, body comp there, and various little electronic things you can think of, circuit boards and stuff. Looks like he likes to build stuff in his spare time. He's got a few changes of clothes in the closet. The bed doesn't look slept in. It looks like maybe somebody was sitting on it last. That was the last thing that was done, but it's not like somebody was sleeping in it and got up and left it there. It was made, but then somebody was sitting on it. But beyond that, you don't really find anything. It looks like a single guy's dorm room.
How does it smell?
Well, it smells like nobody's been in it for a couple days. But
No, but I
beyond
mean, there's no like a trace of that cybernook smell.
no, not at all.
Okay.
I want to try looking in some unusual places.
Okay.
Underneath drawers, for example.
Right.
What else? Underneath the bottom of the bureau.
Of the bureau. Okay. Yeah, you look around in there, you pop the panel off and get underneath the cupboard. You pull the drawers out. There's nothing taped to the bottom of them. It's a little dusty in places. Doesn't get cleaned in those areas very often. But you don't find anything hidden. I mean, there's nothing suspicious in the room.
What was he building?
It looks like he might have been working on a little circuit for his personal computer. You have no idea what it was, what the program he was working on, the circuitry he was working on it for. You could probably take that down to Caitlin in town, and she'd probably be able to identify it. But you don't know off the top of your head. But it looks like he's got his little personal computer there, and it has the little circuit. Basically, they're cartridges that have the programs on them, and it looks like he was building one to add to it.
I guess we should take that to analyze.
Is there any way I could try to figure out how it would be able to wipe out the entire database of a 10-hour block of time?
Yeah, make a roll.
Oh.
Give me a D100.
No.
How do I do that again?
Just type /roll space D100 is the easiest way to do it. Or over right, there's this little
Toolbar.
D20 in the toolbar that pulls up a dice roller dialog. There you go. All right.
Oh.
So, yeah, you realize that it probably would be possible. You would need a pretty high level of access. You have that access right now because you were given it on the data cube that you were given at headquarters. And you suspect that Marcus probably had that level of access, but you're not sure that anyone else at the mine would. But it would be fairly straightforward to I mean, it would take a little bit of time, but you could sit down at the computer and you could pull up the logs and access the data stores and delete everything. It's actually
individually.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'd have to do, here's all the GPS stuff, get rid of it. Here's all of the security cameras, get rid of it. But it's also, if you have the right level of access, it would be a pretty straightforward operation. It might take you a half hour to do, but because you have to do the systems, as you're poking around, you realize the systems aren't all, one command won't wipe them all out. But wiping out a section of data is possible. And as you're looking around, you realize that the backups got wiped too.
Okay,
So
Marcus is really the only one that would know how to do that then, right?
yeah, maybe. I mean, you know how to do it. It's just a matter of having the access to do it. And because every time you go to a different one, you have to enter a new security code or re-enter the security code depending on the system.
This is something that, it wouldn't have been something someone goes in and wipes it and then walks out of the room. It would have taken a considerable amount of time.
Well, it would have probably taken them 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah, if they knew what they were doing.
And then they have to log on their security time. Is they able to see what the initial login security code was?
Now, if you look at it, those are gone too. All the logins are missing from that time period. And so what it looks like is everything was going along. Marcus had been on the computer system. You see that because he He'd actually been running backups, and then he logs off, and then all you see in the logs are normal operation events. You know, the gate opens to let the robot in, the robot drops stuff, you know, those kind of things are logged. And then the data stream just stops.
Is this the only terminal that's connected for that?
Well, you can you're at the ones in area 22, that's the main computer core, and yeah, those are the ones that could do that. The ones out in 21 wouldn't have the access to do that.
Okay.
But it looks like whoever did it cleared out. Basically, they kind of did a brute force wipe everything. Instead of the other ones seem to be much more selective, like they just blocked that one security camera for a short amount of time. But this is this looks, you know, the previous things were more like scalpels. This was more like a sledgehammer to the data.
And every camera.
Just everything, yeah. In fact, the mining logs are missing. Everything's missing. Just the whole data sets are gone for that 10-hour period.
Who else has scout skills?
Jaren has stealth. You, Shane, have environmental and survival.
I'm just wondering if I went out to take a look at the air cars, look for anything like maybe a trace of blood or something. What skill would be appropriate for that?
You would take Eric's character. He's medic and detective.
All right.
And so we can just say he goes along with you. He's just tagged along in the background here.
Right. He'll walk first in case anyone shoots anything.
Okay.
My shield.
Okay. So you go out and you start examining the air cars. Go ahead and give me a roll.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. So you don't notice anything. There's cement floor, metal walls, lights hanging in the ceiling.
This is why I hang out outdoors.
Exactly. So this is not your area of expertise. However, Dole Morton, he's looking around, and that was cool. And he
yeah, Mom.
Now I'm distracted. He climbs into the first air car, and he goes, "This one hasn't been anywhere in a while." Climbs out of that one. He looks through them all, and it's pretty obvious.
I'm glad you're back and you're safe.
It's pretty obvious that
I love you too.
they don't use them. They've got more vehicles here than they need, and the air cars, the two,
All right, I'll see you Sunday.
probably haven't. I mean, they've been driven, but probably very minimally. They've been minimally flown. The other two look like they've had more use, and in one of them, he does actually find under the passenger side seat in the back, there is a stain that he calls your attention to, and then you attach your. In fact, he pulls out his med scanner and looks at it, and it's blood. It's just a really small spot, and it's kind of back under. And then looking at it closer, you realize that the flooring there was cleaned recently, but this area seems to have gotten missed. And so he pulls it up, and it is a match for Marcus, so it is Marcus's blood. But beyond that, I mean, that's about all you can tell.
All right, so we've got the room. Now we just need to get the object and it's Professor Plum or whatever. Okay, I'll go back and tell the guys. I think we found the body was.
Do we want to check the controls for any fingerprints or traces of
I guess
DNA?
it would be the last person that used the controls would have their fingerprints. And is there the GPS in there?
There probably is, but there's nothing in the car that can tell you where it went. Those logs were on the computer and they're gone for that time period.
Okay. What's the fuel level on it?
It's fully charged. Yep. It's been sitting in the garage, just plugged in, ready to go.
Can we look for prints on the plug?
You can.
Because that would be where somebody would mess up. I think they would probably clear out the controls, but not think about the plugging it in.
Okay. Somebody roll for Eric.
There we go.
All right.
I'm not rolling for anybody anymore.
So no, you don't find anything. They either wiped it down, or there are multiple prints on there, but it looks like it's just been used. I mean, there's it may have even been taken out once or twice since the murder occurred.
Okay.
I realized there was an air car down at the. There were 2 air cars down at the party because that's how the miners got there. Forgot that last night, but so at least 2 of these cars were down at the. In fact, this is one of them. So it has been flown since.
Well, okay, if it's a Streel air car,
it is a Streel air car.
Nobody else is getting out of it. We can kind of say all the people in the town probably aren't. Nobody in town is probably a murderer.
Probably not.
So
now you can see which one has grass stains on it, correct? Because normally these are just driven to the town, which is a parking lot,
right?
Or gravel here,
or back into the city, or back into.
But they're not usually landing in the fields. Though,
this
right?
is true. And when you do that, this one definitely was. I'll give you that one. You don't have to roll. I mean, there's not much because it has been flown around and they do fly pretty fast. But looking carefully, you know, and taking samples, and Rennie gets out his scanners and starts looking at things, and you do find traces of the ground. Of the ground out there, not parking lot, and not exactly.
Is there anything else though, like not parking lot, not
no
stuff in the town?
There's
the grove, but is there anything in addition to that?
There is. You can tell that it's been here in the garage. It's been down to town, probably into Point Drew. It was parked out there on that grass area, and maybe there's some indication that it was somewhere else as well that was not a parking lot, a built-up man-made structure, like it was landing out in the rough somewhere, but you have no idea where that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but that means this thing is traveling around. Someone's using this to travel, to take the stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so this is being used to transport whatever is being stolen.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably.
Maybe.
And
actually, do you just check this one, or do you check all of them?
We think we should check everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You find traces on 2 of the other ones that match whatever this other thing is.
Oh, so they're using all. Somebody's just using all.
But it's just dirt. It's a soil. It's it's minerals and chemicals, but it's something that you wouldn't find it's pale soil, but it's not something you would find in the normal civilized areas.
Okay, so going back to the data logs,
Hmm.
besides that 10-hour period,
Right.
what is the usual pattern in a week's worth of time that these vehicles travel?
Oh, the vehicles are traveling. They'll take they'll any one vehicle might make a trip. At least the air cars,
Yeah.
might take a trip uh, a day because they fly down. Like I said, the people they use them to get back and forth between the city, um, between the village, and they go down there on a regular basis. They're often going down. So any one of those cars probably makes 3 or 4 trips a week down to the village.
Are they
Now,
multiple people in them at once, or is there any
Sometimes,
time where there's just one person?
yeah, it just depends on what's happening. Sometimes it's just one person, sometimes it's a group. Um,
Any long trips?
Not that are in the logs, no.
do they disappear from the logs for any period of time?
There are 3 occurrences where there's like a 20-minute gap where it's not in the log. There's no positions recorded.
Taking it, going to the job, come back, wipe it from the system. Damn it!
It's an air car. Someone's got to be seeing it going.
Unless they're going off beyond the village. Like if they're going west instead of.
Tom?
Yeah.
Would robots in their own processor log what they see?
Probably not any of the ones they have here. They don't. They have pretty low level stuff here.
Okay.
I mean, like the cargo ones are just basically automated trucks. Are like level 2, and they have a little override. You can like a little joystick. You can drive them if you get in the little cab area. But the mining robots down in the mine are a little more sophisticated because they're doing, they're digging and following mineral veins. The maintenance robots are just they're just maintenance robots. They don't really store that much on board themselves either. So not really, not the robots.
Are there any security cameras or CCTV, or are those all tied into the logs?
It's all tied into the logs. It's all one integrated system. Yeah.
So you don't integrate things.
It does seem a poor
well, you can put
security setup.
You can put that in your report.
Yeah.
They learned nothing from Battlestar Galactica.
Tracking systems and security systems, 2 separate things.
Well, I guess we should interview people. Who's got the biosocial skills?
That's probably Eric's character. Although Jill has persuasion.
Yeah. Why don't you should be the one doing the interviews because, my character's got a personality of a paper bag.
I'll stay in the background and keep an eye on them. Would comprehension help to see if someone's like trying to hide something?
Actually, lie detection would help if somebody had more than a 5% chance.
Well, my 15 isn't all that great either.
Comprehension is actually kind of what I was leaning on when you're in the social, because that is more group social dynamics.
Oh.
So that's kind of what was feeding you all the information about the village and their relationships. I was kind of relying on the fact that you had that. It's more of a group dynamic thing than an individual person. The Dralocyte's lie detection is more the individual person. So, all right. So who do you want to talk to first? You've got 7 people here at the mine that you could talk to.
I'd say start with the girl. One that's always been greeting us. What's her name?
Oh,
Dexter?
Yolanda.
Yolanda Dexter.
Yolanda. Okay. What do you want to ask her?
Interviewer. Go ahead.
Come on, Joe.
It's your time to shine.
Put her off guard. Ask her why she killed him.
Swear to God, I was going to ask that. Were you aware that there was blood found in that air car over there?
Says, no, you found blood? I mean, we looked, we checked all the vehicles, but we didn't. We must have missed it.
Somebody made an attempt to clean it out and missed some.
Well, I mean, the robots clean them out regularly, but it probably wasn't. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys found that. What was it? Was it? I mean, I'm guessing it was Marcus, but
yeah, we
was
believe
it something else?
Marcus.
Okay.
Parts of him.
Okay, that means it's somebody here, because no one else has access to the vehicles except for the mine employees.
So that would indicate that one of your miners committed the crime.
Yeah, but who? I mean, we're a pretty close-knit team here. And why? She seems generally befuddled.
How old is she?
She's in her 40s.
And how old was Marcus?
Marcus, he's in his early 30s, actually.
Not much of an age difference. Is she attractive?
Back to that.
I guess, yeah. Let's see. I actually didn't roll up stats for all
About
of these
as
guys. So
attractive as a woman could be when
all right,
there's
here
only
we go.
7 people.
She's got a personality of 45, so average.
Wait a minute. I've got a personality of 45. I'm not average.
Hey, I've got a personality of 35.
Surprise!
So, so at this point, our preliminary findings would indicate that the only motive for killing him is limited to about 2 things. One, he saw something that he shouldn't have, and the second being, it was over a messy relationship of some kind. Perhaps romantic?
Not me. If it was, it wasn't me or there's another human female here, I think.
Amy.
Oh no, yeah, Amy. It would be the one miner. As far as I know, he and Amy didn't have anything going on, and I didn't have anything going on with him. So,
why not?
Don't date your coworkers. I'm the boss. Wouldn't look good.
Yeah, but what the company doesn't know.
She just stares at you.
Well, okay, if it isn't you or Amy, could you
she's
provide? That was great. That was awesome.
Wow.
So if it isn't you or Amy, then perhaps you could suggest somebody more.
You have to understand, Marcus spent his love was his computers. I mean, that's what he did. He could make them sing. I mean, he was amazing. He kept everything running great, but that was where his interest was. When he wasn't working on our computers, he's working on his computer. Um, that's kind of what he did. I mean, I have no idea. I would have to say it's your first idea. He saw something because I don't know.
Did Marcus never went down in the mines at all?
Oh, he
He
would go
spent
down
most of the time.
occasionally.
Has
Because
anyone seen him go down recently?
no, he hasn't been down. It's probably been 3 or 4 months. He doesn't have to go down very often. It's not often that there's a. It's usually something with the robots, and he goes down with Talner, and helps out. And but no, for the most part, he's up here all the time.
The last shift before everything was wiped, he would have been above ground, right?
Oh yeah.
Who else was above ground on that shift?
I think. Let me look. She pulls up, taps something on her little computer, and also Tom and Amy were down in the mine, so everybody else was up here.
Tom and Amy.
Yeah, 2 of the miners.
We're downstairs. We're down
in the mine. Yeah, we're working with the robots and directing the robots and checking samples and stuff.
And Roberto were up on top.
Yep. As was Marcus and Talnor and Britallica.
Marcus is clear.
Yeah. And I was here. So.
How strong does Yolanda look?
She's fairly average. I mean, not super strong. She probably, maybe could have smacked his head in, but you wouldn't think that.
I'm saying about moving the body.
Oh, moving the body.
How big was he?
A dead body.
Yeah, big body's heavy. No, you don't think that she would have been. At least not by herself. Yeah.
And what about this Amy girl?
Amy. Maybe she's a little more. You get the impression that Yolanda is definitely an office type person. Amy is an outdoors.
But she was down in the mine.
She's a geologist.
She was down in the mine.
Yeah.
What about Melly's
a Dralicite. She could probably have moved the body.
She could do it. And Roberto's also.
Yeah, Roberto's a pretty big guy too.
Yeah. Talnor is a Yazarian.
He's a Yazarian.
Less strong.
But he was down in the mines too.
No, he wasn't. He was up here.
Tom?
No, yeah, Tom was down in the mine.
Yazarian.
Oh, that Yazarian. Yeah.
Talnor.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Tom.
Talnor, probably, if he's a Yazarian.
Of all of the people here, Talnor's the oldest. He's probably 70 years old. He's pretty old.
And how long has he been with the company?
He's been with He's been with Streel since before it was Streel. He used to work for Streel Mining before it was Streel, the megacorp. He's been with the company he worked at the company. Yolanda tells you he was here when the Sathar came.
Okay.
So. Are the robots that are used on this mining facility, none of them are small enough to actually get inside the main building, are they?
Just the maintenance robots. No, the big ones can't.
The maintenance robots, though. Okay.
Yeah, the maintenance robots are just a standard body size. You know.
I was going to say it's probably unlikely that Talnar could carry a body, but if he's a roboticist, he can get a robot to do it.
True.
I think he invested too much time in it.
She's like, you do know who he is, right? And obviously you don't, because I haven't told you. but he but you're not supposed to know. But she tells you he was here during the invasion. He was one of the people that fought back against the Sathar when they invaded. And when she says that, it kind of jogs a memory. And there was a group that from Streel Mining is what it was called at the time, with an extra E on the end, that were very active in fighting back against the Sathar on the planet before the second common muster could get troops on the ground. But you may have noticed if you ever talks about that period, it was a rough time for him. But yeah, he's kind of a local hero in the community. Not here in the town, but he's in the history books. If you look him up, you'll find his name. That's the Talnor you read about.
Well,
he just likes his mines.
You guys and me, I'm kind of crossing people off as I'm looking in here.
Yeah,
I kind of have. We got the geologist. We've got the Drolosite and the human male.
Yeah, Melly, Roberto,
and Ratalak.
Yeah, Ratalka. They're the only three that still stand out. I don't think Talnor did it. Been with the company too long. Local, I don't know. Marcus is the dead one. Tom and Amy were down in the mines, so they're clear. Yolanda, she's a pencil pusher. I don't think I don't know if she has it in her. I'm leaning towards one of those three.
Yeah.
And it has to be somebody that could pilot and knows something about computers, which I don't know any of them. They're minors.
Well, if they're working with the robots, they're going to know something about the robots. There's technical skills.
That's true.
If did any of you miners have a social life, either with each other or with people in the town?
Not really with the people in the town, or really with each other. So I mean, they go back to. We don't live out here constantly. People go back into Point True or to some of the closer towns occasionally, but you know, everybody in the town's paired up. There's really not any singles that aren't little kids. They tend to, when they get to that, they head off to university, or the arrangement that the town has with the mine. I mean, they probably make $500,000. They probably get about $500,000 credits a year from the proceeds from the mine, and they use that for keeping the city built up. But they use it mainly for their kids and send them off to college. Some of them come back, but you know, they go to Triad Institute of Technology. We've sent people they've sent people all the way to Clarion to go to school at the white light colleges. They send them all over because they can afford to. The mines, it's a very productive mine. But you know, they might have some interest. I mean, yeah, some of them have some friends in other towns, but nothing local.
Quick question. Can you tell me where Melly, Roberto, and Ratalka are now? Where their location is right now?
Let me see. Let's see. It is...
I hate asking her. We should have.
Melly's down in the mine with Tom. Roberto he's actually down in town right now. He's he's doing a presentation at the school on, I don't know, probably geology or something. The kids, in fact, we just had them all up here about 4 days ago, and the kids all got to go down into the mine and see everything. So they've been studying geology. So we took them down in groups. We didn't take them all at once. I can't imagine taking 34 kids down in there all at once. But we took them down in groups over the course of several days. It just ended up about a day and a half before 2 days before Marcus died. But he's been down. He's down doing a presentation right now, and Ratalka, she's actually down in the mine as well. They're looking to start off a new branch, and the one of the veins split, and so they're looking at the best way to split it and trail both veins. So she's down taking samples. Yeah, no, I said this mine has been amazing.
Anybody want to check their rooms?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, since everyone's gone, this is
yeah, everybody's gone. I mean, the only people up here right now are me, and Amy's probably in her room. She just got off shift, so she's probably sleeping. And then Talnor, because he's here. You talked to him already. He was in the computer room. He's probably over in the robot lab now.
We got 3 rooms. Who wants to check which? I'll check the Vrusk. Because I'm Vrusk. I know where the hot stuff.
I guess I'll check the Azerian room.
I'll check Amy's room.
Oh, she's in there right now. You probably don't want to check
No,
her.
not Amy. We need Melly.
Oh.
Melly, Roberto, and Ratalkas. Those are the 3.
Yeah, but if I check Amy's room, it's more of a challenge.
True.
So okay, I'll check the Azarian's room, I guess.
That's also gonna.
No,
that's
Roberto's human, Melly's drow, and Ratalka's Rusk.
Gotcha.
I'll check the jail site room.
All right, and I'll do Roberto.
Roberto. All right, cool. And we're off.
All right.
And they're all in that same area, right?
But yeah, they're all just in one of those 8 rooms. They're all the physical layout is just mirror images of the one you've already looked at in one direction or another. There's so which one do we want to do first, and what are you looking for?
Okay, I guess I'll check mine.
Okay.
Ratalka. I'm gonna look for anything that would give him a higher ID card for Marcus that would give him a higher clearance, so that way he could access. Maybe it was Marcus that erased him, but Ratalka.
All right, so
stuff like that.
All right, so you go into their room, and there's not a bed. There's there's a Vrusk bed. It's just kind of a couch with no back. Just a padded reclining thing that you can rest your body on. There are some rock samples sitting on the desk. You see a geoscanner sitting there, looking around. There doesn't seem to, you don't seem to see anything. There's nothing obvious. Give me a roll.
So I'm gonna have to check under the cushions. And,
Yep. Roll a d100.
Anyways, slash roll. Do something good.
50. Okay.
All
right. So you look around. There's the rock pieces there. You've got things like geodes and not precious stones, but kind of semi-precious stones and things like that. And you realize that this is, at some level, it's her art collection. she collects rocks, and they are all very pretty rocks. They have veins through them, or they're crystals, or things like that. And they're kind of neatly arranged. And there's some in the closet. There's like a little rock polisher, rock tumbler type thing that she maybe uses to.
She's a new age hippie.
Yeah. So, but you don't see anything. I mean, she's obviously has some computer skills, being a scientist, but there's nothing, obvious that looks like it's an extra ID card.
Nothing incriminating.
Yeah, nothing really incriminating.
Really into her rocks.
Yeah, she's really into her rocks. She's really into the geology. I mean, there's notes on the table about the mine and
anything about that bladed area? Any notes on that or the soil around? No. Okay, then I don't know.
Not really. She was probably there, maybe went investigating just because she's a geologist, but there's nothing that stands out now.
All right. Well, my room's a bust.
All right.
Who's next?
Yeah, I think in the history of murderers, if you got a rock tumbler, that's not an indication.
Maybe that's just what they want you to
think. Exactly.
Get a rock tumbler. Oh my god.
So who's next?
Who wants to go next?
Well, okay, I'll let Joe go next.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to repeat the same things I did in Marcus's room.
All right. So you get in there and you start looking around. One thing you notice immediately is there is sitting on his desk, open, is a training manual. It's a Streel training manual, but it's for computers. And it says employee cross training program on it, and it's very basic. It's like, this is the basic operations of the computer, and this is the components of a computer, and it's like what you would get in a freshman intro to computer programming class. But that's just sitting there, and it looks like he was doing homework. I mean, that's what it's sitting open to. There's questions and stuff like that there. So that's there. Other things is, his clothes. He's got dusty boots because he's down in the mine all the time. Headlamp, it's typical miner gear. And there's a picture of a family picture of some sort. It's him and two guys and a girl. They look to be siblings. Looks like two brothers and a sister, maybe, because they all look somewhat related, on a camping trip or something. They're up in the mountains somewhere, hanging on the wall there above his desk, and there's various other random personal effects, but nothing. I mean, you're looking for someone who does computers. This guy is obviously learning how to do computers. You could follow up on that if you wanted to, but it also looks like it's something that he's just started doing. Not that he would have any serious skill in it. And
right.
Is the book open on chapter 10, how to do information?
No, it's actually open to chapter 4. It's open to chapter 4 if statements.
I figured give it a shot.
I'm feeling like there's some programming humor I'm not getting here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's old. Is the picture in a picture frame?
Yeah, it's in a small little frame. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna examine the frame, look behind it, open it up, look inside of it.
Okay. You don't find anything on the back of the picture. Is it's got a date from about 4 years ago, and from what he looks a little younger than what you remember seeing him at the party the night before, but and it has the name of a mountain range, actually almost on the other side of the planet from where you're at right now, but that's all it says on it.
Okay. I'll put everything back the way I found it.
Okay.
I guess I'll check out my room.
Okay. So you go in there and there's a drow bowl bed. It's like a giant saucer kind of thing. That a Drowsite can just lay in and relax and not have to worry about flowing out onto the floor. And some of the things are very similar. There's some Drowsite styled work boots and coveralls and things like that have various tools in them, and looks like spare ones because they don't look like they're used that often. She probably has her regular set with her down in the mine right now. And there's a reference. There's a little kind of placard type thing sitting on her desk that is kind of like a certificate or something from her STOA, her home group, that if Eric was here, his character would recognize, because he's part of that group peripherally himself. So he recognizes that it's a Drowsite group, kind of like a community organization group that is people that are interested in mining. She she also happens to have a training manual on her desk, but it's geology, it's just closed and folded over on the side, but it looks like maybe she might be doing some cross training as well.
I'm gonna flip through it and see if
Okay.
find anything inside it.
Yeah, there's nothing inside it. There's this piece of paper stuck in. It looks like it's got, scratch notes from working on it. It's in the problem section of one of the chapters, and so it looks
like. Is there anything else that looks like I don't know. I'll take a look at the clothes. Like, I see anything on them?
No. Just dirt. Somewhat. I mean, dirt. Just looks like, work clothes from the mine. I mean, she has some other clothes for like when she goes down in the city and that, but there's nothing that stands out.
Okay. So I got nothing then. All right. Yeah, I've got nothing, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't find myself there either.
I guess we have to go talk to them now.
Well, one interesting thing, after listening to you all describe your experiences and examining my own, I noticed something. None of these people have hobbies. They're
actually, mine says she collects rocks and crystallizes.
Yeah, but geology. That's homework.
If you get a rock tumbler at home, that's no longer a job. That's it.
That's an obsession.
Well, actually, this makes sense. I mean, these people are their jobs. They don't have families. They don't have other hobbies. They're passionate about their jobs. So Marcus was a freak about computers and robotics and so on. It's a steady pattern, which means that they probably didn't have romantic relationships.
You're probably right.
We need to go talk to him.
So it seems, let me see, Talma was good with the kids also, because he taught the little girl how to sword fight. So
Yep.
teaching her. Roberto gives tours for the kids in the mine. Marcus used to give classes on the kid. Jeez, everybody dealt with the kids.
Yeah, they all worked really close with the town.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well-
I still lean towards a miner. One of those four.
Could one of these maintenance robots be altered in a way that would give them more intelligence than they would normally?
It's possible, yeah.
Hmm.
You'd have to, examine them. Or take them down to have them examined by the town's roboticist. Or have Towner look at them. I mean, since I don't think any of you guys have the robotic skill, so it would take someone with a robotic skill to, to get in there and start looking at missions and functions and programs and things like that. But it would be a straightforward process. You just need someone with a skill to do it.
And if it wasn't Marcus, the only logical person would be the person in town. So I don't know if we can trust them.
Yeah, you have access to two roboticists.
Yeah.
You have Talnor, and you have the person in town who is name Michaela Benez.
Does the town have its own security cameras?
Yeah. Well, it has a few. I mean, there's the ones on the computer
On the
robotics
city
building.
hall.
There,
What about on the city building, the main?
there are some around. Yeah. The city building probably has one. Yes, has one, and the tech shop and the general store, all the buildings downtown do. The
Okay.
houses may or may not, but the stores and the doctor's office and they all have at least some sort of surveillance on them, just for, if nothing else, to keep track of when animals show up.
I think we should head into the town and check out those cameras, and then maybe talk to this Ruperto guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep a track. I gotta go back to these computers. I'm gonna keep a track of when time lapses happened
Mm-hmm.
the last 3 days.
Okay.
The gaps, so that way we can match up those times. Because the database here has nothing to do with the security systems in the town, correct?
No, they wouldn't. They would
can't
be
be all that tied in. Oh,
completely
thank
separate.
God.
No, no, those would be completely separate. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So yeah, I'll keep track. I'll keep a timetable of when there were gaps.
So on the way back to town,
Uh-huh.
I want to explain my theory.
Okay.
I think it's Michaela. I think she's programmed. She's the one who runs the computer lab.
The mother of the birthday girl.
Yeah.
No, that's Cameron.
Oh, right, right.
Michaela's the roboticist. Cameron's the computer person.
Oh, okay.
Well, she would have access to just everything that we're investigating. She's a logical culprit.
Well, what's the motive? She has a business. Um, and she doesn't have the air vehicle that took Marcus to the field. Did she? Do the townspeople come to the mining shop also? Or just the kids for tours?
Well, there was a hover car in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was one of the ones from the mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, she does go. Cameron, the computer person, does go up to the mine occasionally. So does Michaela, the roboticist, and so does Mikael, the technician.
So they have access to the vehicles as well?
They don't have access to the vehicles, no, but they do go
That's
out
gotta
to
be
the mine. I mean, only they have their own vehicles. Only the Streel personnel use the Streel vehicles.
So it's gotta
Did
be.
we ask if they're kept locked at all times?
You didn't ask, but you can. Unless somebody forgets, they typically, I mean, that's standard. Yeah, we try to lock them. I mean,
Okay.
there's not, I mean, it's pretty lax. I would say there's probably times that they're not locked, but you just swipe your card by it and the door opens.
Was Michaela?
That's our card.
Has she been up to the mining compound in the last few days, though?
Michaela, no, we haven't.
So that it
We
doesn't fit in the time
typically.
frame.
Do you mean Michaela or do you mean the Cameron, the computer person?
Cameron.
No, she hasn't. She hasn't been up for a while, actually. Michaela was up last week, about a week ago, because I just had several robots break down, and it was just when we need the extra manpower, she comes up and kind of a contractor work and helps us.
But that still doesn't fit the timeline.
Yeah, it was still too long ago.
Well, unless they were programmed to kill him after a specified time.
That's true.
Maybe the Cameron and Michaela are in cahoot.
I still think we need to just interview everybody.
I think it has to be somebody from the mine though, because they have access to the air vehicle, the air car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
The vehicle is the thing that's getting me stumped. It's gotta be something.
Maybe we're looking at the vehicle too.
People. Geologists, roboticist. Well,
Speaking of the vehicle and the logs, the vehicle that we found the blood in. Would there be an incident log regarding people getting injured and that sort of thing?
There isn't that you know of. There isn't anything in the system. No,
Okay.
no, they haven't. They haven't any injuries for a while. Actually, it's been the robots do most of the hard work. So yeah, no, there isn't. There's nothing in the logs to indicate any sort of physical injury like that. That it would just be incidental blood. So you head back down to town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to do the check on the cameras? Who wants to do the interview?
I'll do cameras. I'm not good with
I guess I could do the interview, but just so we're clear, I would want everybody to contribute the kind of questions I should be asking. Like, what do you think I should be asking?
All right, who are we going to talk to first?
a good question.
Because you have,
I think it's got to be someone from the mine.
Roberto's down there. He's at the school.
That's who we should talk to then, because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's got to be someone from the mine.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what?
Tom, did you say Melly was in the mine?
Melly is in the mine, yes.
Okay.
When I go to talk to Roberto, I would like to go also. I want to check his hands, because if you're using industrial cleaning products to get things out, you might leave,
Okay.
some indication on your hands.
Okay. All right, so you guys drive back down to town. Are you gonna? Let's go back to the town map.
Meanwhile.
All right.
Ooh.
Back to the town map.
Right.
So
I'm going to the city building. Gonna park it there again.
Okay. You park at the city building, and you get out and you start walking across the street. And the kids are out in the yard, in the schoolyard. It looks like school's just kind of gotten out. Some of them are playing there, and you hear a scream.
Oh, that's not good.
By sounds like one of the little girls, and she you see her run back towards the school building, and she is just bawling her head out, and she's holding her hand. And
we'll rush over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Rush with the girl. Is she?
All right.
Is she? Yeah.
And she's shaking at this point. By the time you get over there, you guys rush over. It just takes you, like 6-10 seconds to get over there because you're not that far away. And you just run over, and she's crying. Her finger is bleeding, and the kids around her saying, "It bit her! It bit her! It bit her!"
Oh, freaking chickens, isn't it?
No, it's not a chicken.
There's
not. You'd see those. They're big.
Oh, okay.
Squirrel.
The squirrel things.
Yep. And the kids are pointing over to another part of the schoolyard, and you see this little squirrel thing scampering off.
Trank it.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly thinking.
Okay, make a roll.
I don't have the trank gun.
Neither do I. Who has the trank gun?
Not I.
Oh,
it was Zolke. He's gone.
Freak!
Oh, sorry.
Oh well.
let's let Zolke shoot it.
All right.
Where is? He's got a 40% skill. Man, we all suck.
We just started.
Wait a minute. How does he have a 40% skill? His to hit is 40% when he has projectile weapons at level 1, and his dexterity is 55.
Yeah, it should actually only be. That's 38, not 40, but that's close enough. All right, let's see. I forgot how to do. Jaren, now would be a good time. Anyway. So you. Yeah.
You want me to roll for him?
Yeah, go ahead and roll for him.
5.
Awesome.
All right. He rolls. He pulls up. He pulls the trigger on the needler rifle, and needlers are silent, so you're And so the kids don't even notice, other than the ones that happen to be looking at him, and he's got a gun all of a sudden. But they see guns. I mean, it's not unusual. And
Frontierland.
you see this thing go, it gets hit, and Zulki goes running over and starts to run over to get him. And I can't remember your character's name, Jaren. Anyways, Jaren trips him.
Susan.
Jahuzon.
All right, so what do you do, Jaren? You rolled an 18. You succeeded.
I grow an extra leg and trip him as he goes by. Just sweep the legs.
Sweep the legs.
And then he chases off, so he gets there first, and he goes, "I win." All right, so you get. Too bad he's not here. Anyway.
Dang it.
So, you get over there, and there's this.
Okay.
He nailed this thing. It is out cold. I assume he was using the tranquilizer ones.
Yeah. Said we were going to try it.
This thing is out cold. You're looking at it. It looks like one of these little squirrel things, as far as you can tell. Now, back over with the little girl, she is pale, and Motan, Eric's character, who's the medic, realizes that there's something wrong. So he gets out his stuff and starts checking her out. The doctor, somebody's run to get the city doctor, but he's across the street still. And he, let's see, /roll D100.
Somebody get the vet too.
Yeah. So yeah, he realizes that the wound is kind of festering. That there's poison involved here, and so he whips out his med kit and starts treating the little girl. So that's going on back by the school building while you guys are looking at this creature. So this would be a time for Shane for you to make an environmental roll.
Alrighty. So since I'm rolling it, it's going to turn out bad.
Whoa!
No, it's not. You
Okay.
go, boy.
All right, you look at this thing. You pick this thing up, and you realize this is not a normal creature. It looks almost exactly like the little squirrel creatures that live here on Pale. The one thing you do notice about it is that there is a thin, faint, just slightly fainter line of fur along its spine, where it's lighter color than the rest of the fur, and that's not normal. Never seen that on one of these little creatures. So you get out your bioscanner. And you hook it up, and it comes up, and it's a match. It looks genetically very similar, but it's not the same thing. There are changes to the structure, and again, your little viral scanner says possible Sathar contamination, contact Starlaw on it.
Whoa. So we got the Sathar chickens, and now we got Sathar squirrels.
These things look, I mean, normally at even a close inspection, unless you were actually holding this thing in your hand, you probably would have never noticed that it wasn't just a normal little squirrel guy. The discoloration is very, very faint. And of course, it bit the toxin. That's not normal. These things aren't poisonous, and they also don't tend to go around. That the behavior pattern's different than what you would normally expect.
They're usually not aggressive.
Yeah, they're usually not aggressive at all.
Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, and just because it's my character and it's one of his things, and I hooked it up to the bioscanner, I got to ask, is it edible? I mean, I know it's poisonous.
Yes, I mean it's 95%. I mean, it looks like somebody has taken this natural pale creature and genetically modified it. It's I mean, it tastes like squirrel. Yeah, you could eat it. Well,
kind of a cross between squirrel and blowfish.
Yeah,
it's a blowfish.
Like
yeah, that's
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you want to remove the poison sacs maybe before you cook it, but but otherwise, yeah, no. You could eat this if you wanted to. It's genetically similar. It just has some modifications to give it this poisonous bite.
All right. Well, let's put it in a cage for now because I think I'd get in trouble with Star Law if I ate evidence. But if we find a second one,
then you can fricassee. But for now, that's edible. Okay. Do we got a cage? Oh, the vet.
The vet. Let's take it to the vet.
You can totally. Yeah. I mean, the thing's going to be out for. It's going to be out for an hour.
All right.
So you got plenty of time to transport it and get it into a cage.
Yeah, let's do that because I don't want to be holding.
And so you get over to the vet, and Alyssa's actually there with her dad, and he comes over and he looks at it, and you point out what you found to him?
Yes, I'm going to point out.
He goes, now that you say that, you know what? I think maybe that's what bit the other kid last week. Although we didn't have the poison reaction, so maybe it's not the same. But I mean, it was behaving very similarly. Great.
Maybe this is Mark.
Or maybe they're still working on them. The Sathar around here.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna have to start watching for these things. So he takes it back and he puts it in his lab. Do you want me to do anything? He asks. Or you just want me to hold it?
Contain it.
Okay.
Contain
well, that's not a problem.
We probably should contact Starlaw.
Okay. You're gonna radio that in. You're gonna radio it in through headquarters.
Yeah, I would radio it in through headquarters.
Wait, are you gonna take over the whole investigation then?
They probably won't get out here in time.
All right.
All right. So you call it in, and they're like, okay, yeah, keep that thing. We'll notify the authorities, and somebody will come out and pick it up. There'll probably be people come out, start looking around for them. We'll see if there's more of them. Keep your eyes out and be careful.
Is there a reward?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be something. We got to figure out what this is, though. Okay. Nobody's ever seen this before. This is new.
And only can we
be aware that there's also a lot of cybernooks.
Cybernooks.
There's
cybernooks out there? Okay.
Yes.
Well, they're really kind of nooks. They're not cybernetic.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Well, if you see those, kill them.
All right. Well, as I said, I was pointing out, not only is it edible, but we get to name this thing.
All right.
All right. Well, we should probably do the interview, and maybe someone should check on that girl.
So yeah, you're with her, and the doctor's arrived at this point. He's got her, and he's talking to Motan. Actually, congratulating him on his quick diagnosis and thinking. He takes the little girl over to his office, Her parents have shown up by that point, and they go over with them. And he.
Now I try to follow where the creature was, the bushes.
Uh-huh.
Was there? Did it just like crawl through the fence or over a
Yeah.
tree, or is
Yeah.
there a nest of them?
No, there's
Okay,
not a
okay.
nest. It just came in.
All right.
It was at the back corner of the schoolyard, and there's some trees just outside of the schoolyard, so it just came through the
Okay.
fence. If you go over, you can hop the fence pretty easily, or go out and around. It's out back of the computer robotics shop, and there's nothing. Obviously, it just was in the area. It looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, it
So-
probably has a nest somewhere nearby, but it's not right there. It just was out foraging or attacking children.
That's
Well,
its hobby.
well,
Okay.
well,
That could
yeah.
be foraging.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it wasn't. The kids saw it, and it's always a game to try to catch one of the little squirrels or get close to it, and this one didn't run away, and so they succeeded. Anyway,
Okay.
So it's been both children. It's been children both times that got attacked by.
by the little squirrel things, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking psycho squirrels. Good name.
Well, I'm thinking murder squirrels.
Huh? We'll have a talk about it.
All right. All right. So you want to talk to,
The
Ruperto.
miner that's at the
yeah, the miner.
and I'm gonna go to the computers. So you
Ruperto.
guys do your thing first. Roberto. I'm gonna go get a soda.
All right. So he's like, "Have you found anything?"
Well, we're just doing some preliminary questioning, just trying to figure out where everybody was at the time.
I was studying. I'm enrolled in Streel's got this program where you can, get cross training, and I'm kind of getting tired of being in the mine all the time and underground, and I thought I'd like to, try my hand at computers. So I was working with Marcus just, hours before he disappeared, I guess, because he's the computer expert, so he's kind of been my mentor working on this stuff. But
Where were you working?
well, we were in the computer room at the shop, and then I went back to my room and was working on doing homework and stuff on the textbook, reading and working on my desk. And then I went to bed.
What was your lesson on?
If statements. You would think that would be easy, but the computers are stupid. I've come to realize computers are, oh my goodness. You have to tell them everything.
Stop in here anytime, Jill, if you have questions. Or not.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking of anything you haven't.
So, what's your take on it? What do you think? Why would somebody have killed Marcus?
I have no idea, but I mean, we're a really close team there at the mine. I wouldn't imagine to be any of us. But again, I don't know.
You wouldn't imagine it would be any of you, but the evidence seems to point that way.
Really?
Well, his blood was found in one of the air cars.
Really?
And
That's
the only people
strange.
that have access.
Make another roll, Shane.
All right. I'm looking at his hands.
Yeah. Because you're a Dralocyte.
I'm not a Dralocyte.
Oh, you're not a Dralocyte. Oh, you're right. You're not one of the Dralocytes. You're the Uzerian. Okay. You maybe. I mean, he does also handle stuff down in the mine, but you know, there's who else is there with you?
I am.
Okay, you make a roll
And
too.
me.
You gotta put a slash in front of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's okay. That 62 is still enough, Jaren. So you walk in, everybody shakes hands, which for Dralocyte is a chemical analysis, and you realize that there's a good chance that he may have been handling cleaners, and he was definitely at the site where the body was found. Now, he may have been there just after the fact, but you definitely detect that on him because Dralocytes smell and sense through their skin. You shake his hand, your full sensory system goes into effect. So he was there. He was definitely at the murder site at some point, but that's probably true of a lot of people at this point. And he definitely has handled things that could have been involved in cleaning the air car.
So what do you do in the mine?
Oh, Jiminy. Taking samples for directing robots, hauling rocks occasionally, moving stuff. Sometimes the robots, get into a bind and we have to drag them out. Sometimes we have to go down and set explosives. That causes Eric's character to perk up. And because he just likes to play with booms. He's a demolitions expert. All kinds of things, whatever it takes. I mean, mostly it's checking on things, but we have to take samples and do analysis sometimes down there. Sometimes we bring them out. Just general mine work. Backbreaking some days. He's a pretty big guy.
He's a pretty big guy?
Yeah.
Must get hurt down there a lot.
Luckily, no. Occasionally we have rocks fall on us. A loose one in the ceiling. The robots didn't quite get out right.
But I'm saying when you move stones around, you must nick yourself a lot.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's what the gloves are for, to try to prevent that. But yeah, it happens.
So, you probably don't even notice when you get cut.
Well, yeah, usually you're right. I'll come up, get in the shower, and I'm like, what is that? And I'll have a nick on my arm. Or usually it's right here, and he points at his arm, just if you had work gloves on, just past where they would end. Something slips or you get caught on something.
Is that why you didn't notice you were cut?
When?
When you were in the air car.
Was I cut in the air car? I guess not. Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because we found more than one blood sample.
You found a blood sample in one of our air cars?
Found two. Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can con this guy.
Right.
You did a pretty good job of cleaning, though.
What are you talking about?
I'm just going to...
He's starting to get a little defensive. Well, you don't think it was me? Why would I kill Marcus? He's my teacher.
Lie detector?
Go ahead and roll.
Yeah, do I get a sense?
Okay, everybody make a Everybody make a roll.
Whoops.
Oh, gee, many.
Sorry,
you
I rolled a.
You rolled a D16 or a D20. Okay. Yeah, you guys are all very perceptive. He's looking really, really defensive right now. And he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. People come in from corporate, think they know everything. You don't know how it is out here.
Nervous.
Yeah, you'd be nervous too if you had 6 people standing around just staring at you. I guess 5. One of you isn't there. One of you went to the robotic shop, but you'd be nervous too. Jill's oblivious though.
Yeah.
She's our thief. She's looking around for things to steal.
You're in a school building.
I know, I'm judgmental.
It's right across from the general store.
Well, I think maybe we need to, if you're nervous, we should get you to a place where you're a little more comfortable. I think maybe we should all head back to the mining operation.
Whatever. I'm done here. School's out, so let's go back.
Why don't we give you a ride?
Well, no, I've got mine. I came down in one of the Explorers, drove down. I'll drive it back out. I'll meet you there.
Okay. I think somebody should go with this guy, but
Somebody should go with it.
All right, so who was it that went to the robotic shop?
Robotic shop?
Somebody said they went to
The
the
computer.
It's the computer and robotics are together. Somebody said they were going to go over to Caitlin's and Michaela's shop. I guess not.
Tom?
Yeah,
Was that? Was it Angel?
Radio...
I think it was.
Yeah, it was
To the
Angel.
robotic shop? No. I was going to go to the city building to
The cameras.
check the cameras.
Oh, to check the cameras.
Okay.
That's right. That's what it was. Okay.
Can I radio into Yolanda and have her make sure that the security feeds on the garage are working,
Sure.
and have them monitored?
Okay.
And can I grab onto the outside of his Explorer somehow, unseen?
Sure. Make a roll. See if you can do it. And you can easily grab hold of it. Let's see if you can do it without him noticing. He stops and he looks at, what are you trying to do?
Dude, what are you doing?
I grow about 5 more legs and just kind of caper around doing cartwheel.
Okay, whatever. I can't believe they hired you. Anyway, so he then drives off. All right, so back at the security camera, you go in,
Right.
and I gotta look up her name because I can't remember all this villagers' names. Her name's Maya. Maya Welly. Her husband is one of the school teachers. She's the one at the city center, and she greets you and says, "What can I help you with?"
Well, I was wondering if I could get a look at the security cameras and from around the town.
Sure. They're gonna show you buildings. They don't the ground
Do they
around
show
them.
the
but-
surrounding areas?
They mainly look at the doors and the walls,
Oh, that's what
and the ground right around it. But yeah, sure. What do you want to look at?
Well,
She
okay, the
fires
city
up the
building
computer.
parking lot.
Okay.
A camera is focused on the parking lot.
Yeah, there
right?
is a camera on the parking lot.
All right. So I try to match up the times that there was blackouts on our area.
Okay.
Were any of the mining vehicles entering the parking lot at that time?
You
For
look
both
through it,
the
and
city.
none of them were, no.
Damn.
But they do have footage. All the cameras do have data on in those time periods, so you can look around at any of them if you want.
I see an empty parking lot.
You see an empty parking lot for those three. Well, yeah, but that's not the only camera in town. So
Oh, that's true. Okay. Oh, I can monitor all the cameras
yeah,
from the
all of the
building?
cameras, all of the city center ones, yes.
Oh, okay. Go to
Because
this building. Okay.
they have. She says, yeah, they have these are the backups, but you know they keep everybody has their own, but they feed them all here for backups, and we use them to look for animals that are
Oh.
wandering through the city and all that. So we keep them. We try to correlate between the different buildings. So they have a copy of them from each of the buildings here in the city center.
Oh. Well, that's all right. So that's awesome. So I do the same for the technician's shop because that's also facing that
Okay.
area.
In the times that there's blackouts at the mine, there's nothing that stands out. None of the mine vehicles are in the city. They don't show up on any of the cameras. So the
Okay, so they're not coming here.
they're not coming here. No.
Is he training squirrels?
Is who training? What? Is who training squirrels?
To steal things. Okay, it's a stretch, but
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Nope, that wasn't it. Didn't even think of that one.
It's like from Beastmasters.
Yeah,
What's the name
exactly.
of the
You're right.
ferry?
Yeah, Beastmaster. Yeah, it's the two ferrets that go and
The
steal
two
things.
ferrets. I forgot the name. Toto.
Yeah,
Something.
I don't remember either.
Oh,
It's been a
that's
long
funny.
time for that movie.
I can't believe I saw it in the theater.
Yeah,
Anyway.
me too.
Okay.
The cameras though, they all point just down towards the. They don't
Yeah, they're none of these cameras.
look out towards the
They don't
fields or
look
nothing
up.
like
No,
that.
not these ones. These ones are monitoring just the grounds around the buildings in the city center. Now she says, now there are cameras out in the fields, but they're not here. The farmers have them. They have them at their houses. You could go talk to them.
Oh wait, so we got to go to these people's house. Okay, so the
Yeah.
fields that are between here and the mine.
There's
Which
nothing.
houses?
There's nothing really. The farming fields. So that one would be this. So this area nominally belongs to that house, and it's John and Jessa Smeeson is their name.
John and Jason Smisa?
Smeeson, Smeson. Their fields are out that direction.
Okay, and they have cameras on their fields.
Yeah, there are a few cameras out in the fields just to keep an eye on, the robots and to keep an eye for animals. I mean, that's our biggest problem out here is wildlife.
Yeah.
So.
Should I take those cameras, guys?
Couldn't hurt.
So, are you done in the city building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of these are just going to watch their front door.
You come out, you see Jill doing somersaults and cartwheels. And you're not exactly sure why.
You're right there.
And the Streel Explorer drives off. Turns out of the parking lot, turns and heads out towards the mine.
Who's that?
That was our suspect, our prime suspect.
Okay, shouldn't somebody be going with him? Where's he headed?
He is headed back to the compound, and I do think we should go after him, but I think we should give him just a little bit of time.
All right, so then I guess we'll look at the cameras later. These cameras were a bust, but they do have cameras on the fields, and we'll come back and investigate it. But he's our prime suspect. Everybody get in the car. Let's go.
I've radioed ahead for them to watch.
All right, good. All right, so at least they got a heads up.
Yeah.
And I'll zoom up to make sure that he doesn't pass our sight.
Okay.
Or get out of our sight, I should say.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
I don't think we're going to be able to hide from them on a road where we're the only two people.
No, but I want to make sure he doesn't like try to zoom ahead and then make a turn somewhere.
Okay.
That would actually be pretty hard. You can actually see the mining compound from the village.
But it's
So-
dark.
Yeah, oh, that's true. It is still nighttime, huh? Never mind. Yeah, that's right. I forgot it was still
That's
nighttime.
why I
See,
was
even I'm still trying to get used to the change schedule. Okay, so you're gonna follow him back.
Right.
We're gonna go ahead and stop here because it is
2
midnight.
a.m.
2
Yeah.
a.m. for you guys and midnight for me and Jaren.
Yep.
So we'll pick up with the arrival at
The mine.
back at the mining compound or whatever happens on the way. How did this go?
Great.
I enjoyed it.
All right,
A lot of
good.
Yeah.
fun.
I'm glad my my biggest contribution wasn't rolling for somebody else. I'm glad I actually. I thought it was going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, those first two rolls were a little.
Yeah, I'm glad
little
you got
high.
those out of the way.
That's right. Got them out of the way early.
Well, you know, that is the one thing I always remember about Star Frontier is your first character sucks. There's a reason it only takes 10 minutes to make a character because they usually die.
All right, so
So next gaming session is when?
it's gonna be in a month.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, let me pull up my calendar. Maybe it's whatever the second Friday in
The 10th?
November is.
November 10th?
Is that what it is? That sounds about right. October, November. Yeah, it'll be the 10th of November.
So do you have any
Okay.
criticisms for us?
I know. I think you guys are great.
Alright.
Hopefully we'll get over the technical hurdles that
Yeah.
dogged our start.
Sorry about that.
That seems
Yeah,
so
it's-
easy.
That's okay. And otherwise, it looks like it's working. I got my maps all into Roll20, and that seems to be working, switching back and forth so you
Yeah.
guys can see those.
That was useful. I like that a lot.
And yeah, I sketched the village out in my notebook. Oh, Jimmy, a long time ago, but I pulled it into my tablet and retraced it and drew the picture there. So because it was all very faint in my notebook, but that one turned out pretty good. So, all right. Do you guys have any comments or questions for me before we close out? Any thoughts on how it went or how it's going?
Well, I felt it went well.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to finding out who the heck is the mastermind behind all this.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying it.
Psycho squirrels.
I like that one. Psycho squirrel. Either that or
It was
rabbit
the
rodents.
squirrels all along.
All right. Well, then we will convene in a month.
All right.
All right.
See you guys
Sounds
then.
good.
Have a good one. Enjoy your Friday the 3rd. Well,
Yeah.
have a good weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
You too.
Download the last podcast.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.